Okay, we're 2 minutes late. Is it 2 minutes late? It's 3 minutes late.
Is your sound on?
My sound's on. Is your sound on?
Yeah.
Okay, all right then. Our sound's on. Oh my goodness. All right, guys. We were running a little hairy. Carrie getting in here, but we're so glad to be here. Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
The Saturday special. I wonder if how we'll feel like maybe tonight we watch Miss Americana. Maybe. You know? Are you feeling that?
I feel like it's a much better like Sunday
Oh,
daytime,
really? Because
daytime thing.
Sunday I wanted like an Eddington.
Yes. Sunday night.
Sunday night. Feeling Eddington on Sunday night. Because
Yeah,
I'm going to
let's
have a
do
feeling I'm going to like be pretty excited about that one when it's done. Anyway, so glad to be here. Hope you guys are feeling great. Let me just, we got so backed up.
We got backed up?
I did.
You did?
Yeah, dude. I was like, I had so many things. I was like, where's my tea?
I'm Bobo said now that Justin Baldoni troll supporters are bashing Jenny Slate.
Yes, they hate everyone.
They hate. That's just another person to add to the list of who they need to hate.
The whole world is the problem, and Justin Baldoni is the king. And you know, I've said on what's it called? What's that called? Oh, it ends with lawsuits. You know, I've called him like your Lord and Savior.
You're so snarky with people.
Well,
it's so unnecessary because, dude, like they're losing. Like, be nice to them.
No way. You know what I think they are, and I said it today in a post.
Huh.
Because it's the only
You
thing
said
that
that
makes
very
sense.
Canadian in a post.
In a post, I said I think they're a bunch of women-hating misogynists. I said that if you can read anything that is Alex Sachs' deposition and not come away from that believing entirely in what's going on here and who these fucking people really are, then I think you're a woman-hating misogynist. I just don't think you can look at it any other way. I don't know how you can. You know, and if somebody can correct me and help me be able to see a middle ground here, I'd love to find a middle ground between, you know, what I perceive as utter and complete misogyny.
They keep moving the goalposts too, or as you would say, the goalposts.
The goalposts. we say the goal.
The goal.
You just move the goal.
But there's posts on the goal. What I'm saying is that they keep moving the goalpost too. Like in the beginning, when it was Justin Baldoni that was telling the story, and without the benefit of all of this testimony, everybody was like, "Oh, well, if she was the only person that had a problem on that set, then she's lying, and she was obviously doing it to try to take over the movie."
Yeah.
And they were like, and she didn't even complain. She only just made up the shit after. And then he does his lawsuit, and it shows that he's like, "Yeah, she did complain on the set." She did complain. And they're like, "Oh, okay. Well, she did complain, but it was like a plan from the very start. And it was just her and Ryan Reynolds." Right. So now they've got a bunch of other people's testimonies saying that they also were made to feel very uncomfortable by Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath. And now they're like, okay, well, they're all it's a big cabal. It's a big it's a big conspiracy with all of these people against Justin.
It's jaw dropping to see.
Like they can't just ever think for maybe a second that the common denominator in all of this is these two problematic men who are the bosses. Like, I don't understand.
That I think
this is why I'm saying you can't reach these people.
Well, part of what might be unreachable is being able to understand or relate to being a boss and understand the scope and the breadth of that position, especially as you get into these sort of lower percentage positions, these like higher ups, right? In those spots, you have to be super clean, you have to be super smart, you have to be, super aware to do the job right.
What do you mean by lower percentage?
Like 1% of the population gets that kind of job or is in that kind of spot. It's probably not the best way to put it.
Top percent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you didn't say it wrong. I just didn't understand.
No, because I said it. I can do it better. I can be better. I can be better.
No, you couldn't.
So anyway, but
I wanted to tell you that
the big problem with this, the big problem with this whole thing has been that these people, Justin Baldoni and in particular, both of them, have no idea how to conduct themselves at a high level. They're frat, mm-hmm. They're children in men's bodies, and they keep expanding their sandbox, as they were getting, wealthier and wealthier. But they're just man children. No, what do you mean you don't want to? Yeah, well, look at this. And it's like, Jesus Christ, what is that?
Oh yeah, Heath showing his nude wife.
Yeah, he's only doing that because he's being a baby about her objections to what they wanted from her.
What is so super fucking immature is that when, according to their stories, if this is what happened, when Blake Lively saw the image of his nude wife and he explained, "Oh, this is my wife," she's like, "Is she okay?" And Blake Lively asked, "Is she okay with you showing this obviously very private video at work?"
Oh God.
And he was like, "It's so interesting, and it shows his like incredible immaturity that instead of saying, 'Oh, I totally understand why you would be concerned about that,' and I too would be very concerned if I thought somebody was showing a private video of somebody's without their consent. Like instead of talking at all like that, and explaining the situation and making everybody feel better, he said, 'Oh, don't worry, she's not weird about that kind of stuff.' Like, bro, are you in fucking high school? Like, do you never spare a thought for what somebody else's experience or concerns might be? Like, are you so fucking self-centered that really the justification that he had needed to work as a justification for her too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where he was like, "Oh, my wife isn't weird about this kind of stuff." That's his fucking like. It's just so small-minded.
It's also if it was truly in that vein, it's also such a it sounds like such a presumption on his part.
Oh, of course it is.
It doesn't sound like something that they've discussed. It sounds more like, "Oh, that's not how she is."
No, he certainly didn't fucking call her and ask her, because then he would say something like, "No, I just asked and I do have her permission."
Hey, it's me, your loving husband. I was wondering if you wouldn't mind if I showed your birthing video first to Justin. Yeah, of course. Okay, yeah. Nope, I won't do that. No, never mind. The next one doesn't even matter. Bye. Do you know what I mean? Like, fuck, man. I bet. You know what I mean? Like, why? Because I want to show them what we want to do. Be like, well, isn't there a fucking brochure or something you can use?
It seems to me that every single woman in this entire story on either side deserves so much fucking better than these men and their behavior. Constantly just trying to fucking defend themselves against the behavior of these fucking idiot, fucking dilettante, fucking self-indulgent, fucking weird fucking men.
Yeah. This guy Lax, or I don't know, maybe it's a woman, says, "Wow, Blake has 16 supporters. Amazing. She's going to beat his ass in court."
Yeah. That's right.
She doesn't need me or you or anybody. She's going to beat his ass in court.
Also,
and you're going to have to watch it happen.
Also, the entirety
and what we're going to be doing? Sitting here, the 16 of us, laughing our fucking faces off.
Also, the entirety of Hollywood and all the power players that would actually pay, sign the checks for any of the people in this story, they are all on Blake Lively's side too. They're just not telling you about it because you don't matter to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's so stupid. 16. I like the 16 people that are here.
Foz is here. Oh my God. It's so good to see Foz.
Awesome.
It's been a while. Lee is here.
I wanted to tell you that, where is it? Lee said, "I read some Reddit post today praising Dale for his channel."
Oh, really? What? Is that really true?
You should send it.
I would love to see that. Yeah. No, I don't need to. Yeah, I would love to see that. I don't know. First, I was like, I would love to see that. Well, that's cool. I love what we're doing, and I think that, we have the coolest. I think we have the coolest community I've been around in this whole thing. And I'm not just saying that because I'm biased. I think that the people that come here, Our Scientist hasn't been around because Our Scientist won't be around for a couple of weeks or a few weeks maybe. But she is tuning in on the replays and everything else and commenting there. So by the way, if you have anything to say it. I'll shout it out to her in case she doesn't do the replay with chat and, bounce back some answers.
Oh my God, look at this. Lee also said that Perez Hilton did a show yesterday stating that Justin was going to lose his case on retaliation.
It's plain as day, dude.
The tide is turning.
Yeah. It's as plain as a fucking full moon, bro. It's easy. This is easy. That's why this dude that came in and, tries to make us feel small is just so stupid. It has nothing to do with anything. It's such a distraction from the reality that they're faced as supporters of this, these absolute fucking misogynists, Well,
it's just not motivating for me. Like, I'm not trying to follow the crowd. You know what I mean?
Fuck no, me neither, man. I'm not just in a crowd at all. Of course not.
There's that really great line from Rick and Morty where Rick says, he says, "Your boos mean nothing to me. I've seen what makes you cheer." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just such a great saying for all of social media. It's like, don't worry about somebody's criticism if you don't align with them, and what they think. I've seen what makes you guys cheer, so I do not care if you dislike us.
Exactly. I've seen what makes you guys cheer. Yeah, I mean, it's shameful.
Foz says, I've gone from angry to upset about the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, I think that it's okay to like, I hope that, yeah, I get upset about it too. Like it's the absolute, real and true destruction of somebody's life and deliberate, and when you read Alex Sachs' deposition, the truth. The truth is there in that deposition. There's no way that anybody is going to turn their head from it in a jury.
Oh, also, so
whatever is admissible, of course.
Foz is saying that there's one lawyer who is saying that all workplaces are hostile. They are supposed to be, and that Alex Sachs was wanting to be in charge. I mean, that's one way to fucking read it. When she's saying Baldoni should be replaced, and Heath has no business being on set because he upsets people, and also I am here and I can do that job better than him. Yeah. Because she's way more experienced. That's not her saying she wants to be in charge.
No.
She's saying that there's a vacuum at the leadership level that she can fill. It's very different. That's a super different statement. So yeah, of course, maybe she was like, I want to be in charge because somebody has to fucking be in charge around here.
Yeah, I've said it over and over again. They lost control if they ever had it.
Right.
And as soon as Sony figured that out, they started like any other person would in any other, like if you've ever been in a company where a part of the management is beginning to falter or fall, often, not always, but often, they'll turn to somebody who's not like second in command, but somebody who is sort of, there would be an expectation that they would be potentially ready to fill that position of that faltering managerial component. Mm-hmm. Right? This is like how it works in business. If you've ever been in businesses and companies, like I've worked in Fortune 500 companies, all that shit, and I had to fucking, play the oligarchical game, which I refuse to do now. Right? There's faults, there's cracks, there's fissures in management, people fall apart. Sometimes it's addicts, sometimes it's crime. It doesn't matter, but somebody falls apart. And the higher ups look at what's underneath or what's just above for a means to replace and recover when that management piece falls apart. So when you have a production like it ends with us falling apart at the very fucking top, it has to go to Sony at that point, right? And what Sony's going to do is go, well, who among us can pick these pieces up? And they had Alex Sachs, they had Blake Lively.
But I'm curious about this. So speaking as a producer, do you find that this seems very normal? Like in filmmaking with studios involved, where they can just sort of shift.
What part are you asking
roles.
Is normal? Yes. So it would be normal for them or any other like higher up management to adjust immediately.
Directors get replaced all the time, right?
All the time.
Yeah.
I mean, when you no, they don't get replaced all the time.
I've just heard about it a bunch.
They've been replaced time and again. Is a better way to put it. Directors have been replaced time and again.
Oh my God, what is that name that they use?
Alan Smithy.
Alan Smithy is the name that the studios will use when they needed to fire the director. Smithy film, yes. But then who's the director when it's an Alan Smithy film?
There is no accredited director. That's the point of
no. I mean, but like the day-to-day, who's a producer does it?
Well, it would be a group of people, right? It's going to be the producer. It's going to be the producer. It's going to be the line producer. It's going to be the first AD. It's going to be the DP. It's going to be the sound department. Like, this is the thing I keep telling about films. This is why a film by is the most, I've called a film by credit, which Justin Baldoni has fucking whined about like a child.
It was missing off of one poster and he was having a fucking fit about it.
Had a fit over a film by.
And it's just a vanity credit, right?
The most vain credit in film.
Yeah.
It's the most vain credit in film.
Well, I guess if it mattered to him.
A film by is garbage.
I'm curious though.
Most of the time. It's like a great marketing. Like I dig it for marketing, but for Justin Baldoni, it's pure
like
vanity.
It's a fucking Spielberg film or a Scorsese film. Like, come on.
Correct.
I am curious. Do you know of any big Alan Smithy films?
I can't think of any right now.
Okay. I wonder if I'm going to check IMDb for Alan Smith.
I think I would have been able to answer that question a lot quicker when I was like 28. Mm-hmm. You know, when I still had a fever for like all of for everything. Now I'm just interested in like, you know, what's on.
Now you're too jaded to be a film buff anymore.
I am a little jaded. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little jaded, but you know,
I think that's understandable for you. Should we get into it?
We're reading.
I organized them today. I organized so we have all these different exhibits of Justin Baldoni's. I thought that it would be really great to start with him because we've gotten so much information just from his side of the story that supports Blake Lively's claims.
Yeah.
So I thought that it would be a good place to sort of. So we listened to Alex Sachs yesterday. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was reading those depositions, and I organized these by date. So hopefully they'll be a little bit chronological.
I say good luck with that, but that's fun.
Well, because lawyers jump around a lot.
Yeah, because lawyers just can't. They're by design they're nonlinear.
Okay, let me just get a sip.
Because they want to catch you tripping. Pardon me.
Okay.
Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. It's cool to see you guys.
JB, Justin Baldoni depositions.
Here we go.
Okay, this is the first one I got. This one's labeled Exhibit 20. The labels are kind of redundant, so I'm not sure whether like Jones Works has the same labels as Lively case.
They would.
Okay.
There's only one deposition.
So the first question, and then there's a big block of like redacted text, you know, that it looks like this. But that first question is they're asking him about the in-person Zoom sessions. Okay. And he said that they would be 4 hours. It might have been 4 days, but for 4 hours or so each day, including like lunches and bathroom breaks. Okay. So that's one detail that for some reason they included in.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you review any documents to help you prepare for this deposition? Yes. Did any of those documents help refresh your recollection of or memory of events that you'd be testifying here today? No. Are you aware of whether all the documents you reviewed in preparation for this deposition were produced in this case? I would assume so. This is just a little bit of housekeeping. I'm going to skip this part.
Skipping the housekeeping, getting to the tea.
Okay, so they're asking, you attend by Zoom or in person some of the other depositions that have taken place in this case? He said, yeah. Do you use Apple iMessage to communicate in text message? Yes. Do you use email to communicate? He said, I get a lot of emails, but I'm not good at responding to them. I do respond at times, but it's generally pretty short. And he's shout out to the can't respond to email gang, of which I am a member. Okay. Do you use WhatsApp messaging to communicate? He said, I'm on WhatsApp threads with various people. And I think this is interesting. He said, the question is, do you use Signal to communicate? He said, since the lawsuit, I do. Yeah. Isn't that interesting? That he's only on the private messenger that deletes your messages since the lawsuit started?
I wonder what they're going to do about it, right? Because that's open hiding, right? That's open, like hiding what we're talking about.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's all above board with that.
That's not fucking... That's fucked up.
So they nail him down on this. They say, so before the lawsuit, he said no, that he never used Signal before the lawsuit.
That's very fucking
Since the lawsuit.
That's such an interesting piece of information to get.
Isn't it? That's why I'm starting at the top of this. I know.
This is why lawyers tell you just answer the fucking questions. Yes or no when applicable.
Because he offered since the lawsuit, I do, yeah.
He offered that up.
He did,
and I promise you that whoever...
The lawyer's like, ugh.
That was a yes. That was a yes, JB. He was only supposed to say yes there.
I know.
Fucking guys make mistakes. This is the problem with them. They don't think. They're not in the game that they're playing at any fucking time. This guy is so fucking self-absorbed.
I love it that he thinks
that he just immediately fucking makes a mistake in his fucking deposition.
What's so great is he thinks he's this fucking mastermind, okay?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, no. He's a fucking guru. He's a fucking guru.
He's like screwing
up. And he can't
even
answer a fucking simple question without fucking revealing something.
Incriminating himself.
About what their fucking intentions were.
Okay. Since the lawsuit, who have you used Signal to communicate with? He said, mostly my attorneys, the people that are the defendants, some friends.
The people that are the defendants. Oh my God. I mean, one of the first things they ask you when you're sitting down is, have you discussed the case with anybody?
Yes.
so that you can fucking find out if people are colluding to go into these kinds of fucking the modes of discovery.
So since the lawsuit, he's been on Signal communicating with the defendants. And the lawyer's like, yeah, we know. No, that's not what happens. So they're continuing to ask questions.
Outstanding.
A lot of times they'll sort of pad that question with other questions so the guy doesn't get wise to the fact that they actually nailed him on something. Okay, so they go, do you use Telegram to communicate? He said, no. Do you ever send voice notes? He said, yeah. Do you ever record?
Oh, we've heard those. At least one.
Right. Do you ever record phone calls that you're a participant in? He said, I certainly have from time to time. Do you do that frequently? He said, no. Did you ever record any phone calls or Zooms with the participants in this case? He said the lawyer is clarifying either the Blake Lively case or the Stephanie Jones case. He said, yes. How many times would you estimate that you recorded the phone calls or Zooms? He said 2 to 4, maybe 4 times, might be 3.
Dude, the documentary. Go
ahead. Question. Am I correct to understand that's 4 times ever that you've recorded phone calls or Zooms with any of the participants or witnesses or people involved in the events that underlie either of these litigations? Justin Baldoni says, I don't do it often, so I imagine it was around 4, 2 to 4. I'd have to take a lot of pauses to really think about that, which I think it's between 2 and 4. Why don't we say 4? Everyone's like, okay, Justin.
Let's go all the way to the most. Okay.
How about in-person meetings? He said, one that I can think of. Which is that one? Justin Baldoni's answering, I recorded an improv acting session between Jenny Slate and Miss Lively. Question, that you were also a participant in? He said, I was. Where were you located when you recorded that? He said, at our production offices in Hoboken, New Jersey. Where was Miss Slate located? In New Jersey. She was with you? He said, yeah. Where was Miss Lively located? And he said, I assume she was at her house, which is in New York. Other than that one, so this is interesting. New Jersey is a one-party consent state, I think. Maybe you can check on that.
I will.
I know that New York is a one-party recording consent state. One party. So if one person on the phone call or video Zoom or whatever knows that they're recording, it's fine.
No, it's the term one party does not refer to a state being dominated by a single. Oh, no.
No, not political
consent.
party. Yeah.
It didn't.
I searched it earlier and then I forgot what I found out, but I searched recording. Like the state name recording.
Yes, it's one party.
New Jersey?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So he's in the clear with recording without permission here. But this is but later on he doesn't.
I don't know why people think I don't know why what is the controversy around this? Like for me it would be like I just assumed in my entire life that if I'm on a phone call, that it's basically public. Do you know what I mean? Like essentially, like I don't know if I've sort of reconciled with it. I don't know. I'm just saying, what's the big deal about why is that
I'm
such
definitely
a big
a person who does not want to be recorded unless I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
Like just even if I'm on the phone call with somebody and I feel like I might be on speakerphone, like I'll ask because I'll behave totally differently if I feel like I'm just talking to one person versus whoever's in the room can hear me, And also, it's kind of irrelevant whether they had a good reason or like a nonsense reason to be uncomfortable. The fact that he didn't ask for permission before recording and it made them uncomfortable is really all that needs to be known about these recordings. So I think that this was the recording that Jenny Slate and Blake Lively talked about being uncomfortable about because they only found out that they were being recorded in their improv after. Now, these are...
But it's Blake cool Lively, to record my side of a conversation as opposed to an entire conversation. Is that cool?
Yes. In any state, you can record what you are saying in your space on a phone call.
Right.
If you're like, I think that there's probably somebody might be able to have a claim.
Because I would feel like that's mine.
I know, but I feel like somebody would be able to have a claim if you're like restating everything they said on the other line and trying to hide behind the fact that you're only recording your own voice saying it, you know? Where they're like,
do I want to go and kill your wife?
Yeah, right.
No.
Why do you keep repeating everything I'm saying? Do you have a hard time hearing or what?
I gotta watch what the algorithm might get mad at me.
Yeah, don't do that. Anyway, so this is just interesting because I feel like, especially with Blake Lively, she has her image, her acting is her moneymaker. So if he's recording her without her knowledge while she's doing the work of acting, like in this improv session that they're doing,
yeah,
like that's a real big no-no. Like you have to get her permission for that, You know, like her agents are not going to be cool with you just having her footage of her acting and being able to use it for whatever, you know?
Yeah.
I have no idea what he intended to do with it. Okay, anyway. Continuing. Next question is, let me just make sure this doesn't cut off. Other than that one in-person meeting, can you think of any other in-person meetings that you recorded that involved any of the participants in the events underlying these cases or had anything to do with the events underlying these cases? And he said that at the moment, I can't. Are you aware that your counsel produced to us last night 4 recordings? His lawyer objects to the extent it calls for information provided by your attorney, or that appear to be recordings by you or phone calls or in-person meetings having to do with this case. Okay, so that's a question.
Man, this guy's got some material that I just want to see and hear.
I know. So the objection interrupted the question. Let me just read the question through.
Okay.
Are you aware that your counsel produced to us last night 4 recordings that appear to be recordings by you or phone calls or in-person meetings having to do with this case? And Baldoni said, I would imagine that they would. Okay. Are you aware that they were produced last night? He said, I can't answer because the attorney is advising him. He's directing the attorney, Ms. Shapiro is saying to Baldoni, directing you not to answer anything to the extent that it calls for information you only know from your attorney. So he said, I can't answer. Are you going to follow your counsel's instructions? He said, yes, ma'am. Next question.
As he should, by the way.
As he should, yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you recall recording a phone call between you and any of the following? Ange Giannetti, Josh Greenstein, or Todd Black? Baldoni said, Ange Giannetti. I don't know if Todd Black was on it, but I know Ange, yeah. Tell me what you recall about that phone call with Ange. Baldoni says, I haven't listened to them. What I recall is feeling scared and almost feeling like what was happening was like I needed a witness because what was happening was just it felt kind of crazy, but I don't remember the content of the call. I assume it had to do with figuring out how to get through a difficult shoot. Question, what was it at the time that felt kind of crazy to you? Baldoni says, I don't know exactly what call or...
See how much he just gives up?
I know.
Like he just hands the
and she's
lawyers...
like, okay, I'm going to pull that thread. Thanks.
Just on top of it. Just like,
you just handed me a big fat thread.
Thank you. I'll take this little nugget and see where it goes.
I don't know exactly what call he's answering. I don't know exactly what call or when it was recorded, so I don't know if I can answer that without more details. Question, do you remember why you recorded that call? Baldoni says, again, I just need to know what call you're referring to. Do you have a memory of a call that you recorded with Ange Giannetti? He said, yeah, I have a vague memory, yes. So she's saying, the lawyer is asking, with respect to that call that you have a vague memory of, do you have any recollection of why you recorded that call? He said, I think I felt powerless and scared and kind of lonely, I think. Why did you record that call? And he says, I felt powerless and scared and kind of lonely, I think.
Play it on his fucking nightstand when he goes to bed? Like, what? Was he going to, like, put it in the kitchen and, like, eat with it?
He was going to record a phone call with Ange Giannetti because he felt powerless and scared and kind of lonely.
Why is he such a baby, first of all? What does it even mean?
First of all, you're in charge of literally everything. You're in charge of everything. It's your company that's making the movie. You're the director of the film. You're the producer.
Baby. But I'm just trying to figure out like how there's any kind of relationship to like those feelings. Like it's just like he just injects his feelings into everything. Because like those feelings, what he just mentioned, his loneliness and whatever else.
Powerless and scared and kind of lonely.
Powerless. I'm going with spineless, but whatever he wants to call it, what is that in relationship? I don't understand.
He's not answering the question either.
No.
Because that is not an answer for why you recorded that call.
Why did you record the call?
To make you feel better?
Because I'm lonely?
What are you doing?
But I don't like, what is a recorded call? How does a recorded call cure loneliness for him?
She's like, okay, well, let me just reframe the question this way. She's like, what did you intend to do with that recording?
Oh, interesting.
He said, nothing. I didn't know if I would ever need it one day. And the lawyer says, have you needed it? He said, I haven't looked at it or listened to it, so apparently not. Did you tell her that you were recording the call? He said, I didn't. Where were you located when you recorded the call? He said, I don't know. I would have to know the date on the recording and then I could try to reverse engineer it. The question, from your vague memory of doing this, give me your best estimate of where you were located. And he said, I don't know. Is it possible that you were in California? Because that is a two-party consent state. He said, it's absolutely possible.
Oh, boy.
I know. Oh, boy.
I mean, I might have broken a law like that not knowing it.
So check it out.
I just never...
Where was Ange located when you recorded that call? I assume she was in California.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so you
By the way,
so you broke the law, bud.
If she's in California, then he has to observe California's
of course
two-party consent.
Yeah, because the stricter rules prevail, right?
The stricter rule prevails, yeah. Exactly.
So he just stepped right in that. Okay. Do you have a memory of recording any calls with Josh Greenstein? No. Do you have any memory of recording any calls with Todd Black? He said only if Todd were on the call with Ange. Where is Todd Black located? And he goes, like, right now? She's like, no, in general. Where does he live and work? He's often in New York. I believe he lives in LA, but he's often shooting movies.
He's so present.
Yeah, he's just living in the
Justin is so present.
He said, she's asking, does he maintain an office in LA, Todd Black? And he said, I don't know. Okay, so this skips a page.
What, like his fucking mother?
I know. I can't believe he asked, like, right now? No, not right now. Okay, next page. This goes, do you want to finish your question? No, it's all right. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I know. Okay, they're bickering. Okay, re-ask the question. Question, other than the one call we've spoken about with Ange Gianetti, do you recall recording any other calls? He said yes. Okay, please tell me about those.
Pray tell.
I recorded part of a call with Sean Levy. Who is Sean Levy? Do you know this director's name?
No.
Will you look him up?
Is it Sean or
Shawn?
Oh, one of them Sean's.
Levy.
That's the right Sean, if you ask me.
I recognize the name. I just can't remember what the projects are.
Sean Levy.
Sean Levy.
He's a Canadian-American. He's a Canadian-American filmmaker.
Oh, just like you.
He's my brother. Oh, what's up, my brother? He has a recognizable face. He's a Canadian-American director, producer, actor, and founder of 21 Laps Entertainment. Well, I guess he likes to swim or run. Let me see. Or maybe...
What are the movies, babe?
I'm trying to find him. Fuck. Deadpool and Wolverine, little one.
Oh, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Red Steel, The Atom Project, Free Guy, Star Wars Starfighter.
Free Guy is also a Ryan Reynolds project.
I guess he's a bit of a big deal.
Okay, so this is really interesting. So you know how Blake Lively was promising that she would open her network to Justin Baldoni, where she was like, I have all these dragons and they can be your dragons too.
Please come and hang out with my dragons.
And they love to help people. And remember, she sent that text and he was like, oh my God, it's a threat. Like a big dumbass.
Yeah. Dragons. Okay. Fucking dragons are bad.
Okay, well, so here is one of those people. So Sean,
this is one of the dragons?
No, this is part of her network, okay?
He's huge.
He's massive.
He's so massive.
Here's Small Beans fucking
Stranger
Justin
Things.
Baldoni. Yeah, okay. Here's Small Beans Justin Baldoni, okay? Getting to have a private phone call, of a mentorship phone call with Sean Levy, because he's friends with Miss Lively and Mr. Reynolds, okay? The luck of this guy.
Oh my God.
This is just one of the.
I would hyperventilate for 15 minutes.
This is just one of the relationships that he absolutely fucking biffed by acting like a fucking vindictive asshole.
If I didn't lose consciousness, I would then start feverishly making a list of things that I wanted to ask this person.
Yeah. Okay, great. So let's hear about the call. Okay, so please tell me about those calls. He said, I've recorded part of a call with Sean Levy.
Wow, what a dick.
No.
That's fucking dick.
Who is Sean Levy? Justin Baldoni says, Sean Levy is a director and apparently a very close friend of Miss Lively and Mr. Reynolds. What do you recall about that call?
Yeah, he has 46 directing credits.
Oh my God. The fucking gift that they were connecting him with.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
It's unbelievable. See,
all the light we cannot see.
Justin Baldoni could have risen to that level if he had just recognized the opportunity.
He directed 8 episodes of Stranger Things.
Unbelievable. Okay, let me go on. Are you ready?
I'm so impressed with this guy.
I know. Okay, listen.
Go ahead.
What do you recall about that call? Justin Baldoni says, I recall he wanted to speak to me, and as we began talking, I got the feeling that he was calling to kind of adjust or course correct, which made me feel a little uncomfortable. Which is so...
Every fucking thing out of his mouth is making me feel uncomfortable.
Like you had the opportunity to turn that conversation into something that benefited you, but nope, he's just going to be paranoid. He said, which made me feel a little uncomfortable. And the lawyer's like, adjust or course correct from what? He said, I don't know. He doesn't even know. Question, what do you mean when you say adjust or course correct? Just explain to me a little bit more, please. Justin Baldoni said, it felt like he was being asked to call me, like he wasn't just calling to talk or check in. He's a friend of Lively and Reynolds, and he's having a private phone call with him. And he said that
she was insulted that it wasn't authentic enough.
That he wasn't calling to just talk or check in. No, dude, this is like a fucking work call with a major professional, you know, who's like at the very fucking top of the industry that you want to climb up. Oh my God. Is this not weird to you too?
I can't believe it.
Can't believe it.
Well, first of all, like I would have probably declined and said like, maybe we'll meet him socially or whatever, because that's not how I necessarily want to be introduced either, to be honest.
Over the phone.
Yeah, it'd be a little weird. Like, hey, my name's Sean Levy. Oh, you're such a big fucking deal. What am I supposed to say on a phone call?
No, you take the fucking call, and then whatever the guy wants to talk about.
I guess if I took a call like that, I would have to think it all through. I would panic because the last thing I'd want to do is like fucking fuck up a phone call like that. And that's why I'd be like, I'm much better in person.
You can't fuck up a phone call. You can't fuck up a phone call.
I love you. Sean, I love you. I love you. I want you to know that I love you.
Instead of saying goodbye, you say I love you. Okay, bye, I love you.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, no, we're totally connected. This is totally great. I love you too. I mean,
that's how you fuck it up?
I mean, goodbye. Goodbye.
I feel like that's the most endearing thing you can do on a phone call. I don't think that fucks it up at all. Because no matter what, everybody likes to hear it, that they're loved. Anyway, I would just be like, oh, hey, Sean Levy, what do you want to talk about? Whatever you want to talk about, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay. He said, I feel like he was being asked to call me. Like, yeah, dude, he's not calling you for...
They're giving you
that guy's
everything.
I know.
They're giving you everything. They gave you Taylor Swift.
Bad?
They gave you this guy. I mean, on a fucking silver platter.
I know.
And all you did was pout and complain.
There's a guy who's taking time out of his professional life to call you.
He's a fucking ingrate. And you know what? This is why I think he's a narcissist. I mean,
he's just paranoid.
People are bringing him gold on platters. And he's like, you're only giving me this gold because somebody told you to give it to me. You're not giving it to me because you want to give it to me.
I know. Oh
I know
God.
We've only known each other for 15 minutes.
You're personally connecting me with your biggest
I can't believe
movers and shakers friends.
I can't believe they did it. First of all.
Yeah.
Holy shit. But I'll say this. If this has to be coming in obviously before he was such a fucking dick. And that again speaks to Blake Lively's belief in everything that she thought he was. She was sold on this guy in the same way that I think a lot of his fans are right now.
Yeah, and apparently his 5 Feet Apart was a good movie, so she probably saw that and was like, this guy can do it, man.
I didn't know about poor Travis.
Okay, so I'm going to continue.
Please do.
He said, lawyer said, what did you mean when you say adjust or course correct? Just explain a little bit more, please. He said, I felt like he was being asked to call me, like he wasn't just calling to talk or check in. Like he's in your fucking prayer group
Justin,
or something.
Hey, Justin, it's me. I just wanted to check in. How you doing, buddy? Are you okay? Are you naked right now?
Yeah.
You are? Okay, I'll call you back.
Okay, the question, what was he calling you about? Justin Baldoni said, the movie It Ends With Us and Miss Lively. Was he calling you about the tensions that were arising in relation to the movie? He said, no. No, he wasn't. Okay. The lawyers go, so what about the movie It Ends With Us was he calling you about? This lawyer's like, I don't know. Why am I spending 10 minutes asking you the same fucking question? Just tell me what the fuck happened, you know?
Well, maybe he's doing his job there as a deponent, which is to give as little information as possible.
So what about the movie It Ends With Us was he calling you about? Answer, he was calling to give me advice, it appeared, on how to handle or navigate making a movie with Miss Lively. Wouldn't that have been nice if he had taken... Did he take that advice?
I don't know. It's a good idea, though.
I know, right?
Yes.
You would know. He's worked with her. Okay. And what time was this? He said, I could be wrong. I believe it was April of 2023. This is the month before they begin shooting.
Yeah. Like, I would probably generally feel weird about it if I got a call from like a big, huge dude going like, hey, so this is how you work with Blake Lively. That might be a little weird, certainly knowing because it's coming from them. So I'd be like, all right, weird.
Why would it be weird? I would be like, hang on, let me grab a notepad.
Depends on what gets said.
I'm going to make sure that I take in everything that you've said.
Yeah.
In fact, would it be all right if I recorded this phone call so that I can make sure that I can like marinate on the information that you're giving me? Because I'm sure it's going to be so helpful.
Yeah.
You know?
I love your earnest.
But I've never worked in the business. So
earnestness. Yeah. For me, I would be more like, okay, what are you gonna tell me? You know, like what am I about to get? Like I would be almost afraid that he's about to spill some like nasty on her, or that I'm suddenly gonna find myself getting boxed in creatively, and I would start to like And look, I mean, this does sound a little weird to me, but continue.
Okay, so backing up, he said, as we began talking, I got the feeling that he was calling to kind of adjust or course correct, which made me feel a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, I would imagine.
I felt like he was being asked to call me, like he wasn't just calling to talk or check in. He wasn't calling about tensions that were arising in relation to the movie.
So that's weird. So
he was calling to give me advice, it appeared, on how to handle or navigate making a movie with Miss Lively. Okay, well,
so is there any more to that?
No, there's more in the depositions, obviously, but I don't know why it made him uncomfortable is what I guess. The only reason they're asking about this is because it was a recorded phone call that he didn't get permission to record.
Yeah.
But I'm so curious about why he was so uncomfortable. Anyway, because he's a paranoid guy. Where were you located when you recorded the call? He said his office in New Jersey. Where was he located when he was speaking to you on the call? He said, I don't know. Did you inform him that you were recording the call? Justin Baldoni says, I did not. Other than these two calls.
He's not required to unless he was in California.
If Sean Levy was in California.
If anyone was in California, then he was supposed to disclose it.
Other than these two calls that we've spoken about, one with Ange Gianetti and one with Sean Levy, can you remember any other phone calls that you recorded? He said, it's not something I do often, so no, to be precise, I don't. I can't. Does Jamie Heath often record phone calls to your understanding? He said, I'm unaware of what Jamie does with his own time. Does Jamie Heath ever record phone calls in the course of his work for Wayfair to your understanding? Excuse me. I don't know. I know he has, but I don't know if it's a regular practice. How do you know that Jamie Heath has recorded phone calls? Because I'm aware of at least a recording. Which recording is that? I'm aware of a recording of a WME agent or conversation that happened.
Oh my God, the documentary.
So Jamie Heath
they're cutting it
recorded
right
a phone
now,
call.
these fuckers. They're cutting it right now. They're shooting it. They're cutting it. That whole Hawaii thing, that was all for the doc.
I'm seated. Yep. Okay. So that skips to the next few pages later. Okay. I think that we read this part about Ahmed was my former partner at Wayfair. So
DB says JB's the type who hears the grocery store cashier say, have a nice day. And then takes it as someone saying, you better have a nice day or else. Or worse, it's like, have a nice day. And then he's like,
does she think I was having a shitty day?
Yeah, like, does she think I was having a shitty day?
Exactly, dude. Okay. I think I'm going to skip this part because he's talking about who has what role in Wayfair Studios. And I think we've talked about this a lot.
I am curious to see or to find out specifically what Levy said to him about working with her. It would be very interesting. My guess is that if it had to be fairly benign.
He's probably just talking about working with big stars.
I'm guessing if that was the case, then that would be very fucking handy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's interesting because you can't really trust what comes out of his mouth because everything is turned.
Everything's twisted.
Everything's turned into something potentially against him. Everything that this guy fucking says about other people is there in some way, unless they're Jamie Heath, unless they're Steve Sarowitz, they're in some way attacking, hurting, implying.
It's like Justin Baldoni's like this little like hedgehog, right? Like he's a porcupine when he's supposed to be a hedgehog. Like there's no reason for your spines, buddy. You don't have to be so spiny about everything. You don't have to like wear the suit of armor. He talks about this in his memoir. He always feels like he has to wear a suit of armor and he's constantly under attack, but he's vague about it. So it's just like this general feeling that he has.
I'm becoming increasingly convinced that this guy has a personality disorder.
Yeah.
That this is like beyond this guy being a dick and more like this guy has a personality disorder.
His paranoia is
like he's on the spectrum and he's like maybe got, and I'm not saying people on the spectrum are in any way, any kind of deviant or, but I'm just saying like he might have proclivities. I don't know. It's just, there's something that just thematically is psychologically wrong with this dude.
I think that there's something that makes him paranoid in so many situations that maybe he's not thinking clearly about.
Is it imposter syndrome?
And it affects his ability to have like healthy relationships because he's just so paranoid all the time. He's just blocking Like, I think a lot of people are like, what is this guy's problem? And instead of, I don't know.
I think it's a lot of like being a star. You're projecting things, like he projected this, this feminist thing, but he didn't even have a clue of what it was, what it meant. And of course it doesn't really mean anything. It, in terms of like him, feminist is outside of himself, and he made it. He personalizes everything. Everything is and he twists it and turns it into whatever he thinks it's supposed to be.
He's too easily wounded too. I don't understand it.
And that's where I think the psychological disorder is, because this is, like almost like the, the one where they like make their babies sick. But instead of them making their baby sick, they're making themselves sick.
That is Munchausen by proxy.
Yeah, thank you, Munchausen by proxy. Yeah, so something similar to that, except that it's more, toward the self.
That's Munchausen's syndrome.
Is it?
Yes, where you feign being sick so that you can gain sympathy. And then Munchausen's by proxy is where you have control.
So is this kind of the same thing? Like,
you have
this
guardianship
guy's on the
over somebody that you make sick so that you can get sympathy for that person.
Yeah, I understand that. So is this guy like, texting fucking friends and being, I pray for me. Like, is this that? Like, are these manifestations of this?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know, Dale.
Well, it feels like it, man. It feels like everybody's got to take care of Justin.
Constantly.
Everybody's got to take care of Justin.
Must be fucking exhausting.
How could you not want to take care of Justin, though? You'd want to.
Does the chat have a lot to say about this?
I don't know. Keep going. I'm sorry. Why?
No, it's okay.
Are you shutting me down? Am I being?
I'm not shutting you down. No, I just think that it's.
You can shut me down. You can shut me down if I'm going on too much. It just strikes me that this guy is constantly trying to bring attention to himself in a sort of like supportive way, in that like. Yeah, Munchausen kind of.
I am choosing to skip the part of his deposition where he's talking about what everybody's role is in Wayfair, what his role is, and Jamie's role is, and other people that got. Yeah, there's some other people that got equity roles and friends of his and stuff. How they basically just cobbled together this business with friends. Okay,
yeah, that's cool.
Also, he is talking about how his dad did product placement as a career. Okay, and that he did that in Wayfair. Okay, I'm skipping all this.
Okay, cool.
Okay, they're asking if he shared text messages with Mitz. Text messages with Blake? No. Text messages with Stephanie Jones? I don't believe I shared any of those with Mitz. No. Text messages with Jen Abel? No. Text messages with Melissa Nathan? I didn't have any text messages with Melissa Nathan. And that's interesting. I feel like we've seen text messages with Melissa Nathan.
No, I think those
with Baldoni?
We saw that between her and...
Jennifer Abel is the only one ever talking to.
Well, the only one we've seen that I'm aware of is the one that he sent to Abel that said, sorry, not the one he sent to Abel, where Abel said to Nathan he wants to know. So she's. This
is so weird though. He says, I didn't have any text messages with Melissa Nathan, but there are text messages where Melissa Nathan is talking to him about the Hollywood Reporter article. Remember?
Maybe he distinguishes.
That was revealed to him that Melissa Nathan lied to him about the Hollywood Reporter article. And it was because they had text messages together where he was asking.
Then you think he would pursue it. Let me get with this real quick.
Okay.
Kate Winslet, which is Titanic Edits. She said it was weird today because she saw a guy from her school who she liked, and he looked a lot like Leo. And then he kicked her out of the prom because she wasn't popular enough. He acts so much like Derek.
Oh my God. What?
It's a dick.
What do you mean not popular enough to go to the prom?
What does that even mean? You can't be, what? You have to be popular to go to the prom? Where?
You could be the dorkiest dork if you gotta.
Meanwhile,
you don't even have to have a date.
Meanwhile, she's got a badass channel with like tens of thousands of followers, and
I know she's super popular here.
She kills it. She kills it on TikTok.
You know what? You're not even gonna remember your prom. I went to 2 proms, 2 high schools I went to, but I went to both of their proms. I don't fucking remember it.
Yeah, I didn't go to a prom.
Doesn't matter.
I don't need no prom. I was like, nah.
The people who care about prom, they peak in high school, and ever since then. They have to remember the good times in high school. You know?
I was kind of overly intimidated by the whole process, really. I was like, man, I'm going to bow out.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Shall we get back to it?
Please do. Fuck that guy, by the way, Kate.
So I'm not sure what the first question is.
Oh, that's funny. DB says he has aliases that he texts with called Henny
Grace. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He goes over that in the depositions. We'll get to it. He says, my memory, text messages with my health coach, text messages with Don Saladino. Who is your health coach? his answer is Jennifer Benson. And what does she generally do for you? He says she's not my current health coach. Question, what should she generally do for you when she was your health coach? I guess that's a typo.
What's the name?
Jennifer Benson.
Jennifer Benson.
He said she tried to keep me healthy. The question's how. His answer is supplements, peptides, helping my immune system. What about your text message with your health coach did you believe at the time would help you explain the truth of what happened?
Rich people have everything, dude. They're like, it's just crazy.
Oh, dude, if we were rich, I'd have a fucking health coach. Are you kidding me?
For sure.
Of course.
Yeah, dude. I'm going to follow what they do because they all look ridiculous all the time, even particularly the ones that don't go through surgery. I know
that his fucking abs in that show, like,
yeah.
He should put together an exercise video. It'd sell like crazy. Okay. If my memory is correct, this is Justin Baldoni's answering. If my memory is correct, I was being accused of many things, but one of them was like putting Miss Lively on a phone call with a dietitian, which was a lie and an extreme distortion of the truth. Do you recall this?
Yes.
Where she said that he connected Lively with a dietitian, and it turned out to be that she was a weight loss expert. Yes. And she was like, oh my God, he's trying to get me to fucking lose weight.
Yes. I remember this.
But he said in the text messages, according his version of the story, is that he was trying to get her some like gut health boosting things because she was nursing and had to have like she was doing COVID treatment while she was nursing or whatever. So he was trying to get her with a dietitian. I have no idea who's telling the truth about this. Either one could be, and it really doesn't fucking matter. Okay.
Yeah, and I think it can also this is the kind of thing that can be easily like convoluted into a he said, she said, where they're both
exactly
pretty committed to what
he says. What they it was a lie and an extreme distortion of the truth. And the lawyer doesn't even touch that.
Yeah, she's a dietitian. Exactly.
The lawyer doesn't care. Okay. The next question is, who is Dan Saladino? And I guess that's a typo because I think it's Don Saladino.
Right. That's the fitness trainer, right? The physical.
Yes. He says he's a personal trainer.
Personal trainer, right.
Question, is he Miss Lively's personal trainer? He said, I would assume so. And what about your text message with him did you believe at the time would help you demonstrate the truth of what happened? His answer is the communication between him and myself that showed that he was also working with me. Now, Don Saladino went on social media saying he never worked with Justin Baldoni.
That's right.
So who's telling the truth there? And do we have to care? Okay, next question.
It may not be relevant, but then it would be weird because, just anecdotally, you have a situation where you have a guy believing a completely different thing from the other guy.
This is the reason why I'm saying it doesn't matter is because if Don Saladino was working with him as his personal trainer, he still shouldn't be asking him about Blake Lively's weight.
Oh, no, it's not relevant at all to that. But I'm just saying from a psychological perspective, why is he sitting in a room representing something that another man cannot back up in something in...
I don't know. Maybe he thought he was also working with him because he gave him some advice or something. But they never signed contracts. So according to the Saladino guy, he's like, it's not my fucking client.
Didn't we just watch something? Oh, yeah, we just watched... Death by Lightning, and the guy who plays the not Shannon, the other guy. You know his name, don't you?
Who?
The genius. I don't know. The guy. I don't want to give it away. The guy.
Shea Wiggum did a really good job. I know his name. And then there was Michael McFadden. McFadden. Michael McFadden. He plays the villain. Yeah. Remember when he was like representing that like somebody, remember he was like I know the blah, blah, blah. And he Oh my God, I know. He was so great with all this little he just like made assumptions because like he would walk up to him fantastic. And they would have a conversation and then he would walk away with an agreement that didn't happen. What was so brilliant about that performance, and I'm just going to take just 2 seconds to talk about this because I cannot fucking believe how wonderful this guy did, is he managed to, oh man, actors are so amazing. So he played a role of a guy who was tricking people, but being so earnest about it. And the entire time you're watching him, you don't know whether he believes himself or whether he's just tricking these other people. And he talked his way all the way up to... The guy's crazy, and you can't tell whether he's like in on his own grift or whether he's just tricking. I just love it. He conveyed it perfectly, and I don't know how people work so masterfully. Such a phenomenal piece. Anyway, Michael McFadden. McFadden, yeah. He gets all the awards forever. Yeah, guys. Okay. Can't recommend Death by Lightning enough. I will continue with this, okay? Yes, so this is the Lively's personal trainer controversy, okay? Yes. And what about your text messages with him did you believe at the time would help you demonstrate the truth of what happened? He said the communication between him and myself that showed that he was also working with me. Okay? Okay. Next question. How many screenshots do you recall sending to Mitz? Because Mitz apparently was collecting a bunch of evidence so he could create a timeline. And that's evidently what they expanded into the timeline that they put up on the lawsuitinfo.com. Okay?
Yes.
The timeline document?
Yeah.
He doesn't know. He said, I wish I could tell you. I don't know. More than 2? Yeah. More than 5? Probably. More than 10? And his answer is, that was a very hard time. I will say yes. Okay? Now we skip to like 100 pages later. No, like 50 pages later. Are you aware that Wayfarer and you decided to hire Melissa Nathan over Stephanie Jones's objections? This is... Now we're getting into the meat.
Yeah. Put your bibs on.
Okay. Are you aware that Wayfarer and you decided to hire Melissa Nathan over Stephanie Jones's objections? He said, I would imagine so, yes.
He said he would imagine he's aware of that?
Yes.
He said, I would imagine so, about his own awareness?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to show you what's marked as Document Exhibit 5. It's a text message between you and Stephanie Jones, dated July 26, 2024. Is this the text message that you were referring to that Stephanie Jones sent you where she warned you against hiring Melissa Nathan? He says it appears to be. And this was sent on July 26, 2024. So does that refresh your recollection that you were considering bringing on Crisis PR before July 26, 2024?
Motherfucker.
That is so early.
Come on.
That is like weeks before his premiere.
That's because he knew what he did to Alex Sachs. Listen, if you forget about Blake Lively, I think that what he was more afraid of than anything was
the rest of the cast.
Sachs.
Yeah, the rest of the cast.
Dude,
everybody that worked on
there's a woman on record who was working with Justin Baldoni on a set who said that she felt physically threatened by Justin Baldoni. Physically threatened on that's career-ending shit. People don't want to ever take that. You're putting movie stars in these men's hands.
Yeah.
And these movie stars are commodities. They are billionaire commodities. They're pleased to be them, but that's what they are. They are owned, to be sure. Like everyone talks about Blake Lively being powerful. No, dude. For as long as she wants to be a star, she is owned. So is fucking Ryan Reynolds. Putting these guys in the chairs of the Illuminati is ridiculous.
Illuminati.
Well, I mean, you know what I mean? It's in terms of like it's tantamount. What they're saying is that these people are like, they can rule fucking, institutions like the New York Times. It's just absurd, man. But go ahead.
Anyway, his answer is yes. And then it skips to several pages later. Okay, so I'm just going to pick up in the middle of this. So his answer to that was, does this refresh your recollection that you were considering bringing on Crisis PR before July 26, 2024? And his answer, yes, here, I think really undercuts anybody's assumption that he was acting defensively, because there's nothing happening in his public life he should defend against.
He anticipated Blake Lively's move.
Can it be called defense when it's proactive?
It's not defensive, but in his mind it is. I'm talking about from his perspective.
Right.
He's like, yes, it's preemptive on him 100%. Mm-hmm. If he's doing it in July, that's obviously it's preemptive. It's preemptive in August. It's preemptive in July. In August, it's preemptive. She didn't fucking do anything until December. Now again, and this is what I'm talking about, obviously, the so-called unfriending him in social media by the cast and so on and so forth. So he saw it coming. And so while it's preemptive, in his mind, it's defensive because he's already seen the signs of, this cast and potentially some of this crew turning on him.
Okay.
What a fantastic fucking fuck up. It's just so astronomical. Okay. And it's all because of him. And Jamie Heath, they're both just absolute morons. Mm-hmm. Maybe I shouldn't use that word, but yeah.
Why not? I think it's reasonable. Who fucking acts like this?
They're out of their fucking minds.
Okay. This is just a new topic. I don't know what's happening in this question. To your best of recollection, you only recall seeing one version of a scenario planning document. Is that correct? He said yes. Do you remember that you didn't see any other versions, or you just don't remember one way or the other? He said, I don't believe I saw a second version of the scenario planning document. Okay, after you were provided with the scenario planning document, describe for me the series of events to your recollection in terms of how you came to hire Tag. He's asking him to rephrase. Okay. At some point after you received the scenario planning document for TAG, you ultimately hired TAG, right? He said the company did. Yes. Okay. Yes.
You're the fucking chairman.
I know.
Come on.
Is it you're all suits, so it doesn't matter.
And there's like 5 of you. It's like
I know.
acting like there's some kind of, you're not fucking Sony.
I know. I skipped over the part.
10,000 employees, bro.
I skipped over the part where he established that he is the guy in charge. Okay.
There was a board meeting.
Is it your testimony that Wayfair hired TAG? He said, yes, I believe so. Okay. Do you have an understanding of whether you personally also hired TAG? He said, I don't think I personally hired anyone. But that's according to the publicist. They say Justin Baldoni is a client and Wayfair is a client.
Yeah, because in the same way that Justin Baldoni is a defendant and Wayfair is a defendant.
Right, exactly. Okay, and when Wayfair hired TAG, what was your understanding of what TAG was being brought on to do? Baldoni says, my understanding was that TAG was being brought on to be crisis public relations representatives. Question, to your understanding, was TAG given any instructions by you or by Wayfair in terms of how to proceed once you had hired them? He said, I believe so. I believe that Jamie was in communication with them. And do you know what those instructions were? He is saying, I can only speak to the instructions that I gave Jamie or at any time spoke to Jen or on the calls, which was to plan and to just try to get good press out there for the movie. He's a liar. How involved were you personally in discussing with anyone at TAG the type of PR strategy you all should be employing? He says, I don't know. I think I had ideas. I'm not sure how many conversations were happening versus what ideas I was sharing. I was kind of in and out. Question, do you have any recollection of any ideas that you had that you shared with TAG? He said, I mean, I really wanted to focus not just on TAG, but also Jennifer Abel. I really wanted to focus on amplifying the voices of survivors. I wanted to focus on the DV. I wanted to focus on the movie and not all of this speculation and drama. Question. Did you personally ever have any conversations with Stephanie Jones about the instructions that Wayfair was giving TAG in terms of how to proceed? He says, I don't think I had any real conversations with Stephanie Jones outside of texting through July and August. Do you recall ever communicating with Stephanie Jones, whether on text or in conversation, about the instructions that Wayfair had given TAG about how to proceed? He says, I don't believe so. My memory of texts with Stephanie Jones were focused on letting her... Oh, does this cut off? Yeah, sorry. We pick up like 20 pages later. The question is this the idea from your partner, Steve Sarowitz, about flipping the narrative that you were just discussing flipping the narrative about? Do you know what this is about?
I think so.
About him bad-mouthing Ryan Reynolds in the press?
Oh, yeah.
And changing the story? Okay. Can I have a second to read it, please? She says, of course. Okay, question. So is this the substance of the idea that you were just talking about that came from your partner, Steve Sarowitz, about flipping the script? He said, yes. And that included flipping the script from Ryan saying, and then they're reading, in quotes, script was a disaster, and he saving the movie, to something about Ryan claiming the female hired was a feminist writer, didn't know how to tackle a female film, etc. Do you see that? Baldoni says yes. This idea that this was a female writer and a female film, and that what Ryan Reynolds was saying was essentially misogynistic, did that come from Steve Sarowitz? And of course, there's an objection to that question. Do you want to hear the question again?
It's making me angry.
This idea that this was a female writer and that a female film, female film, and that what Ryan Reynolds was saying was essentially misogynistic, did that come from Steve Sarowitz? And Baldoni says, I think I said here that my partner Steve was asked about this, so I was passing that along. Question, so this idea, something about Ryan claiming the female hired was a feminist writer and didn't know how to tackle a female film, etc., that came from Steve? He said, that was what was passed on to me.
It's so fucking interesting because he's trying to avoid pinning it on Steve.
That's right.
It's not your fucking job, pal.
You're not telling the truth about that conversation.
Yeah. That's fucking wild.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Question, did you use any judgment about whether or not that was a good idea before you passed it along? And he answers, I think it's implied in him saying the script was a disaster, so I just passed it along. I didn't disagree with him.
You're a scumbag, bro.
Question.
You're a fucking scumbag.
You didn't disagree with Mr.
Dude, that's
Sarowitz?
a scumbag move. Come on. Come on. You can't call that anything other than that being a scumbag move.
So, but he said, I didn't disagree with him. So the question is, you didn't disagree with Mr. Sarowitz's idea? Is that what you mean? And Baldoni said, I didn't disagree with what Mr. Sarowitz was saying in terms of what Ryan was inferring when he called the script a disaster.
He's a fucking scumbag. That's so scummy, dude.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we don't get to see the rest of that.
By the way, Blake Lively, I believe, is working with Christy Hall.
Oh, fantastic.
Let me just confirm.
Is she directing?
I don't know. Christy Hall. Oh, my poor fingers, bro. I got Band-Aids on my thumb.
You got to quit putting your hands in the meat grinder, Dale.
Yeah, well, somebody's got to do it.
Okay. Should I continue or are you going to ticky-tack over there? Are you listening?
Yeah, I'm listening, bro.
I don't share this stuff with Dale during the day. I save it for the live. I'm just trying to
keep
basically
going. I'm gonna see what I can
download the gossip to my husband, like everybody else does when they get really into this kind of celebrity gossip. But I'm just doing it with everybody.
Let's go.
On a live. Okay. Okay. This is a new question, new line of questioning. Other than the reporting that was going on at the time about what Mr. Reynolds or Miss Lively had said about this, do you have any other basis to understand what they actually said? So I don't know the context of this.
Yeah.
He said, I'm not sure. Okay, was this also part of the scenario planning that you were discussing? He said, I am unsure. Question, how does flipping the narrative in the way that is suggested here reconcile with the view that you should be putting out only positive stories?
Oh.
This is what I've been asking since the beginning.
No, of course.
How does flipping the narrative in the way that you suggested here reconcile with the view that you should only be putting out positive stories? His answer is because it has to do with a defensive measure.
Oh.
So if we're talking about something that was an offensive measure, then flipping an existing narrative would not be us doing anything offensively. It would be us defending. And again, this was me passing something on.
That didn't answer the question.
It did not.
That completely missed there was no answer to that.
Right.
There was a non-answer.
But he still said it has to do with a defensive measure. So if we're talking about something that was an offensive measure, then flipping an existing narrative would not be us doing anything offensively. It would be us defending. I mean, that is riddle speak. That's a fucking word salad.
That's what my brain's
But what he is doing is talking about retaliation.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't say you're not retaliating when you're talking like this.
No, listen to that. That there's no. I mean, what a terrible answer.
Oh, okay.
I love it too because here's what drives me crazy. Well, what drives me crazy about the Baldoni fans is that they think this guy is all this like exudes good. This is evidence that pure and simple evidence that not only does he not necessarily, he'll lie.
He doesn't even understand.
He'll viciously lie and then he'll fucking twist that. He's lying in a deposition, right? Well, he's not lying. He is by evading the truth.
Yeah, that he didn't tell the straight story about what happened with that Steve Sarowitz phone call. Come on, dude. You're not protecting somebody by lying.
We heard Kevin Connolly do that shit in his testimony in my litigation with Leonardo DiCaprio. Go ahead.
Okay, so this skips again. Okay, so did you hear in the tabloids that The Rock that Dwayne Johnson is involved in this?
In this?
Yeah. Did you hear about it?
No, what?
He was
hugging?
Melissa Nathan is trying to pin it on, I don't know if it's true or not because it comes from her and she's a fucking liar, but it might be true, who knows. But apparently that The Rock is involved in making that Stephanie Jones attack website. Did you hear that? Somehow he's got some interest in it. Who knows?
Is this true?
I have no idea if it's true because it comes from these people who are like fucking their whole job is lying about shit and throwing people under the bus. Okay, but this is this is a portion of a question that's cut off, okay? So we don't get to see the whole question.
Yes.
Okay?
Okay.
But Baldoni is saying, think she represented the Rock. And she had said on that call that Mr. Reynolds had like terrorized the Rock or something to that extent. I can't believe they're calling him the Rock. Something about a letter. I don't remember the details, but something about like he had written a letter and it was like they wouldn't do press together. I don't know. It was a lot of gossip, but that's why I remember laughing because I was just like, oh. And the question is, did you feel supported by her on that call?
Yeah, unsealed court documents related to It Ends With Us. Legal battles suggest that the Dwayne Rock Johnson allegedly requested the creation of a smear website
for Stephanie Jones.
Targeting Stephanie Jones.
Yeah, but we don't. This information's coming from the publicist, so we don't know if it's true. Because these people are fucking liars, and we know that. We know that much. That they're not credible people. Okay?
Yeah.
The question is, did you feel supported by her on that call? Again, I'm not exactly sure what the context of this is. Yeah, as I said earlier, it kind of felt like, oh, don't worry. She's this and that. It will be fine. The movie's going to come out and it will be awesome. And everybody's had a bad experience with her. It was like that kind of call. Okay, question. And did you feel like she believed what you were relaying to her about your experiences on set? And he said, yes, I don't remember sharing much, but what I did share, I just shared the truth. And she, yeah. His lawyer's probably glaring at him. Like, just answer yes or no. What do you remember sharing with her about your experience on set? Baldoni says, I specifically remember sharing the situation with our trainer and asking him about what he thought Miss Lively might weigh when we shot the scene where I had to pick her up because of my back. He just admits it. I can't believe it. I mean, I'm glad he's telling the truth about that under oath and everything.
I was about to say before even this that I think he's doing his best to tell the truth. In his testimony, it sounds like he's doing his best to tell the truth. Until, of course, we just heard that fucking last answer, which was just a non-answer.
Unless it's about Steve Sarowitz, then he'll tell the truth.
Yeah, unless it's about Steve Sarowitz.
I specifically remember sharing the situation with our trainer and asking him about what he thought Miss Lively might weigh when we shot the scene when I had to pick her up because of my back. And how then they confronted me the next day and how this trainer evidently then went and told her that I was asking about her weight or something. And then how that became this big thing and they sat me down and I just remember her kind of not being able to believe that that was even a thing. I believe I shared with her that I had made a comment about the way Jenny Slate looked in her wardrobe, and then I used the word sexy, and I think she started responding by joking about how, again, I don't want to, if it's okay, repeat the words that she said, but generalizing the women and their fragility. And then I shared, and I think if he doesn't want to say the word, she said, oh, well, they're a bunch of pussies or something. Because he doesn't want to say this word in this like formal setting.
He's so virtuous. He who was addicted to porn.
Yeah, he's so virtuous. Talking about his dick.
He's talking about his fucking circumcision, but he's virtuous.
Okay, he said, I don't want to, if it's okay, repeat the words that she said, but generalizing the women and their fragility. You know, feminist Baldoni wasn't like, hey, hold on a second there. We don't talk about women this way,
yeah.
Right? And then I shared, and I think I talked about the wardrobe, how hard it was with the wardrobe, and just that it felt like it was just a very hard experience. Like, that's kind of what I remember. Do you remember sharing, this next question gets cut off. Do you remember sharing with her anything else regarding your experience on set in that call? Okay, so that was an excerpt that they want us to read. Okay, so that's the end of this one.
Crazy.
And we learned a lot. I'm wondering.
Is that Baldoni?
This is all Baldoni. There's more, but I don't know whether it's redundant because there's a lot of.
Let's read it. Let's find out.
Yeah. Okay.
The title says Baldoni.
Yep. We're going through all these.
I mean, if we've gone through Baldoni, then let's move on to the next one. We got. There's plenty.
We have not gone through Baldoni. We're going to be doing this all night. Okay.
Okay. Great. Somebody said that, who was it? Let me see. Ryan, this is Fellbombing, saying that Ryan and Dwayne Johnson, or The Rock as some know him, have been friends for decades. So
are they beefing?
So they call BF, he calls BS on that one.
Oh, that he's attacking his friend because he's his friend.
Right.
That they're trying to badmouth him because he's by association.
I think so.
Let me just skip through. I think I actually read all this.
I think Baldoni has a broken brain. No Two Trolls just said Baldoni is a straight up a weirdo, and I think he's got a broken brain. You know, and I also think that he's like reasonably intelligent. You know,
this is what baffles me. I've said before that his astrology chart and mine are extremely similar.
He probably has a strong. So he probably has a good IQ. You know.
I also, when you hear him speak, he's really eloquent. Like in interviews where, you know, he's not just like,
incredibly.
I'm sure in his TED talk, he rehearsed a script and memorized his whole talk. But in interviews, he's really well spoken.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't, he finds the right words all the time. I just think it's easy to admire him for he has the gift of gab, right? What I don't understand is why he can't He has this impulsive speech that's like a major problem. And he knows it's a problem and he talks about it publicly, that this is like an ADD issue of his.
Yeah.
But why does he think that he can be a boss in such a dynamic workplace as like a film set and not do everything he can to balance his impulsive speech with a really robust HR process, you know?
Yeah.
Like if I had a reputation for being like rude or shitty with people and I had a leadership position, I would just make sure that there was like some sort of structure around to support the people that were like, that I pissed off or something.
I mean, I think this guy's got just, well, first of all, you're thinking about somebody other than yourself. And that's, you're already sort of, way past where Baldoni is. Like,
I just think
Baldoni can't get out of his own self enough to care about the people around him.
They were talking so much about protecting their business, and they did so little to protect their business. So that's just what I'm talking about. Like if I was like, oh, I want to protect my position and my job and my business, then I'm going to make sure that my weaknesses get supported by building up strengths in these other areas.
No, absolutely, you're right. Of course, you're going to fucking be like, oh, this is a vulnerability, let's patch it up. The smile and dial, the like, well, I guess that's not quite the same, but the whole idea of just getting through it, and I don't know why I can't articulate it. I can see a picture in my mind, and it's just falling apart in my mouth.
Glad handing?
Yeah, it could
like
be
a politician.
Handing. Yeah, it is. It's very much like a politician. You're right.
Yeah, sometimes you got to be a politician.
It's just taking care of business and making sure that your shit is protected, for sure. They did not do that. It's a part of why I'm sure Sony was persuaded by what they saw to move away from Wayfair.
Okay, this part is quoted for some reason. I think that Lively probably just wants to throw it in his face that he is the Man Enough brand. But this whole section is about his writing his book and developing his podcast. Do we care about this?
Well, yeah,
we do.
I do, because they're gonna ask him. They might ask him some. Yes.
Okay. Cool. First question is, can you describe that journey for me briefly here? And he's like, do you want me to describe my whole book journey briefly? And the lawyer's like, is that possible? He says, I'm happy to try. I just don't know what briefly is. The lawyer says, I'm just trying to understand what was the idea behind the book and the podcast.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm definitely fucking interested in this. Yeah.
Like wiggling on your
seat. Well,
cute.
let's hear it, Mr. fucking feminist, Mr. Hero of all the women. Let's hear it.
Justin Baldoni says, well, the book was really a self-exploration of looking at all the unconscious messages that I've taken on as a man, but more importantly, as a human in my life, all the mistakes I've made, the social constructs and kind of invisible scripts that I maybe have been living by and I wasn't even aware of, and putting them into a form that I could hopefully help, that I was hopeful could help other men. And the podcast, I think,
men just fucking ran to that book.
I mean, see how well spoken he is, though. Like that's he's
great. Yeah,
he's really gifted. Like I wouldn't be able to. I'd be like,
Yeah, I just stumbled over the simplest of ideas.
Right. Okay. And the podcast, I think, was to answer your question, was a way to have a conversation around those same topics that oftentimes were uncomfortable, so that we could have something for men outside of the book. Question. Did the book or the podcast deal with notions of toxic masculinity? Was that part of it? Baldoni says, I actually say in the book that I don't like to use the phrase toxic masculinity, so I will answer your question no, but I think that would be more of a perception based on who was listening. And the lawyer's asking, what phrase do you prefer than toxic masculinity, or why do you not like using that phrase? And he said, as I wrote about, I think that the phrase toxic masculinity
I wrote in my book.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was going to skip this whole thing. Okay. As I wrote in my book, I think that the phrase toxic masculinity was inherently divisive. I believed it became political, and a lot of men felt attacked by the use of the word, and I didn't feel that it made any sense to use the term that would immediately make men defensive, especially because those were the very men that I wanted to reach. And I also don't believe that masculinity is inherently toxic. I never have. I was very proud to be a man.
That's why it's called toxic masculinity, you fool.
I know. I was very proud to be a man. I never felt that I needed to apologize for being a man, and I know that that was something that was going around a lot with the phrase toxic masculinity.
It's so frustrating just to hear that, because he's trying to say masculinity was inherently toxic because it was called toxic masculinity. Masculinity and toxic masculinity are two different things.
It is a question that is answered by the word itself.
You fucking, I mean, what?
Like that the word exists means that it's an adjective on the word masculinity. Like, can we just, are we working with the same?
You could put generous in front of there if you wanted to, I suppose.
Like, it's just language, bro.
To describe a specific kind of behavior.
And that said, there were a lot of people that maybe.
I don't like murder. Murder's too harsh. You know? I think we should change it. I think they should be like, I don't know, like unaliver.
Toxic murder. No. Okay. Are you with me?
Yeah.
This is his answer continuing. Okay.
Yes, I'm with you.
Baldoni says, and that said, there were a lot of people that maybe kind of lumped in this idea that because I was doing a podcast and writing a book about masculinity, that I was saying that masculinity was toxic. But generally, those were people that didn't read my book or listen to the podcast. I just wanted to help men and help men embrace all the parts of them that made them human. And that also means the stuff that sucks and that you never want to look at and that maybe you've been hiding or you don't even realize you're hiding. And it was just about confronting those parts of ourselves and just holding ourselves accountable to try to be better men. And this is what Lively signed on for. When she
100%.
When she did the Forbes interview, she describes wanting to work with people like this. He is not this fucking person, though.
It's why she was willing to put him in touch with her entire
her whole network, yeah.
Giving him access to the dragons. It was all about like, dude, I'm ready to open up my world to you. You should be ready to open up your world to me. She was looking for some reciprocity, deservedly, by the way. She's like, man, I'm going to bring you, all right, like gold in like big, deep chests.
Yep.
And this guy's like, he chose to be threatened by that.
Okay, the lawyer's asking him to clarify. When you said the stuff that sucks that you never want to look at, or maybe you've been hiding, or you don't even realize you've been hiding, can you give me some examples of what kind of stuff you're talking about? He said, sure. I mean, a lot of men deal with shame. A lot of men, suicide among men is increasing yearly, and many more men take their own lives than women. And there is a belief in, and I don't say this as an expert, this is just from my own research and experience. There's a belief in this specific world that this happens because men don't have a support system, because men have been taught to not share their pain and their trauma because it's oftentimes used against them and weaponized against them by both men and women. So an example could be a man that was abused as a child who never spoke to anybody about it. In this case, I'll give you an example of this is a really long answer.
It's so weird to presume that women do.
I just would never do this to the stenographer.
Yeah.
I would be like, she's going to write all this down, like bit by bit. Okay.
Yeah. You really don't think about them at all. You're not supposed to either.
In this case, I will give you an example of a man that was maybe abused by an older man, but this man identified as being heterosexual. But because he was abused by an older man, struggles with the abuse himself and being taken advantage of, but also the fact that he was abused by a man, he's also questioning his sexuality or his gender. And also there's a preconceived notion that that as a man, you don't want to go to therapy because it makes you less of a man. So perhaps this man didn't get the help that he needed, and he was, as we say, suffering in silence, and he didn't know who to reach out to. And instead, that man took out all of these feelings of shame and unworthiness and confusion about what happened to him and blamed himself, or would take that out on other people, maybe other men, maybe other women. Maybe this man himself became an abuser. And the whole idea is that this is something that, as a man, you would find embarrassing and shameful because it's not something that is socially accepted or acceptable to talk about. So the hope was to normalize getting the help you need to normalize vulnerability. Let men know that they're not alone and that there is all kinds of examples of these types of things. I'm happy to name another one if you want me to. And again, this is just a hypothetical man, and maybe
it's just so weird because it's like, okay, like work on therapy, bro. But it's not like this is like this Johnny oversharing over here. Like, what we don't need is a bunch of men. And listen, I'm a survivor. We don't need a bunch of men who are like sitting around in regular working situations talking about their porn addiction or whether or not they were molested as children. Do you know what I mean? There are contexts where it can come into play, but in terms of like working with
he has built a book and a podcast and a whole workplace around himself. His identity is being open and vulnerable and talking with other people about these hard subjects. Then he starts a project that is a film set, and he decides that is also that same environment.
Yeah.
And that's where he's wrong about it, because he brings in all of these other professionals and all these other collaborators who are not on his podcast and his book, speaking gigs, right? Who aren't doing this whole like shedding their skins and like, exposing their vulnerabilities, but he's still doing it wherever he goes. And that's his problem, because he doesn't understand that there's a time and a place, and where isn't the time and where isn't the place.
Exactly. There's a time and a place.
Yeah.
And there's all and there's a situation even more so. Like he brings up things like, it's not his business to talk about Blake Lively's child's penis. Like it's inappropriate.
Craziest.
You can think that out. You can go like, you know what, maybe this conversation I shouldn't have. And also to then cross the boundary and then talk about your own circumcision in that situation shows that this guy doesn't have a connection to the situation. He's not outside of himself.
So many times in this, I've been thinking, okay, well, what is the good...
It's very Virgoian of them, though, because he thinks, oh, by the way, I'd love to help your poor son in this situation since he's not here to, speak.
I don't know that oversharing is a Virgo.
No, not that oversharing. He was trying to help.
I know.
No. It's not oversharing.
Wanting
That's
to be
a different
helpful,
part of
right?
this chart.
I know. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to continue the rest of his answer, okay?
Okay.
Baldoni says, I'm happy to name another one if you'd want me to. And again, this is all just a hypothetical man. And many of these men end up eventually taking their own lives. And that breaks my heart and hurting women in the process, which also breaks my heart. Question. Did any of your work on the podcast or in this book around this idea of man enough have to do with gender norms or gender relations as between men and women? His answer. I mean, I think the entire book was inherently about gender and masculinity specifically, but as I said in my book, I'm not an expert, and the book was much more my personal journey in trying to use as many anecdotes and stories that I could find in my life to point men to a direction of maybe them being able to look at themselves. I'm sure some of that was discussed either on the podcast or in the book as just this is a large conversation, and my book was meant to just be a tiny little piece of a personal journey mostly meant for men. But as we know, many women read it and then give it to their men
who don't.
So this is not an answer to the question. Does your work have to do with gender norms or gender relations as between men and women? But kind of. Okay. Question: have you seen reporting around?
It's a tough question, really.
Yeah. Have you seen reporting around you that identifies you as an ally of women or a feminist ally? And he said, I would say so. Yeah. Do you believe yourself to be an ally of women or a feminist ally? He says, I certainly have attempted to be. Question, you're aware of the Me Too movement, I'm assuming? He said, I am. Are you aware of an idea that came out of the Me Too movement that one should believe women when they speak out about misconduct against them? He said, yes, I'm aware. She asked, do you agree with that idea? And it cuts off.
Well, we know that he does.
Yes.
Because he said so in his TED Talk.
Yes.
In his TED Talk, he said one of the first things that we need to do is start believing the women. So it's just he just fucked it. You couldn't have put yourself in a worse position, dude. Like, you fucked this whole thing up, and then you have this history you built an entire organization, kind of at least to some extent, designed to expose these kinds of men. It's ultimately really an expose of toxic masculinity in its own right, because he says these things like believe women, and then he puts himself in a position where he's now asking you not to.
I know, it's just really weird. I can't remember who it was in the chat that was talking about how he was losing his grip. And apparently his wife, Baldoni's wife, was like, dude, you should just read your own book. Like, you're not acting like yourself. Like, what happened to the guy that read that?
Didn't he say something about how when he's away from his wife, he regresses back to the guy before the book?
Yes.
Didn't he say something about that? What does that even fucking mean? Do you know what I mean? Let me tell you, I am a different man at 55 years old than I was at 24 years old.
Yes, that's right.
Than I was at 16 years old. Very different man. And what makes me different is that I learned and then changed. I recognized and learned and changed. I tried things, got bad results, made my adjustments, and changed. I recognized, the sort of, the weight of my ancestors, my father and beyond, and shedded, and had to shed those things and learned that I had to even go and find them and understand them.
You learned how to become man enough.
Don't ever say that. No, I mean, I'm not man enough. I don't even think about it in that way. I'm talking about what I'm trying to talk about is that this idea that there's any kind of regression backwards is such nonsense.
Yeah, no, it just means you haven't grown.
Yeah, you have not fucking grown. No. You did not learn.
It means you put on the mask of growth.
It's bullshit.
But that's not actually.
It's what you fucking tell the judge on your second offense, right? On your second offense, you're like, I promised this time. I got it.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I thought I had it the first time. I know. I told you that, Judge. I said, I learned this because I thought I did. But I didn't realize that this could also be that. And so now I know that this and that are this. And so I apologize. Like, it's absolute bullshit. It's a way that he is excusing himself for a lack of growth. You know, you change or you don't change. Mm-hmm. You are or you're not, you know, and then, you know, I think one of the things when you talk about DV, the one thing that you get is that, particularly when it comes to, you know, the man being the perpetrator, you get this idea of them constantly trying to convince I promise this time. I promise this time. No, I understand this time. And that's just not how it fucking is. You either did learn or you did not learn.
I always think it's really interesting that that lawsuits take so long. So I always wonder whether the person who's like all full of like, you know, all the vigor and anger and they want to fight and they're like, fuck you, I'm going to sue you. I'll see you in court. And then like 10 months later, they, you know, like the process begins, like it's trudging along. And I wonder at what point somebody like this who was like, yeah, I'm ready to fight, I'm going to go to war, whether he's like sitting like on his like, you know, on his fucking surfboard in the ocean. And he's like, you know what, maybe I should have just let it go. Like, I wonder at what point he's like, God, I really acted like an asshole back then. I'm so much better now. But he can't take it back because he's on a lawsuit,
which is the easiest thing to do. You know, there's so many men who have.
That's why you're supposed to only file lawsuits when people broke the law, right? It can't just be this emotional shit where he's like, I felt wronged.
Of course.
Because that'll pass, dude. You'll get better. You'll feel better. Have a snack. Maybe a nap.
And when you do,
you'll feel better.
Yeah, and when you do feel better, you'll start recognizing that the people around you didn't have the intentions that you imagined.
I know. God. Okay, so this testimony is all about the signal chats. Do you want to hear about this?
Of course I do.
Okay.
Why wouldn't I? I want to know what the fuck is going on. I want to hear him talk about how they willfully destroyed evidence, I said.
Okay, so attorney Miss Shaw is asking, I want to come back to your use of Signal. I think you testified earlier this morning that you had never used Signal before Blake's complaint was filed in December of 2024. Am I getting that correct? And Baldoni says, I had the app, but I wasn't a participant, like doing anything on the app. Do you recall when you downloaded the app? And his answer is, I recall 2 different times that I had downloaded the app. The first time I ever heard of Signal was from Stephanie Jones, and I don't know how long ago that was. I feel like that was, I close my eyes sometimes because I visualize, so I understand where I am. So he's explaining.
I want to see that. I want to see that. Thank you for that. He gave us a little fucking, okay.
And he was like, I know this looks weird. I feel like, he said, I close my eyes sometimes because I visualize, so I understand where I am. I believe it was in 20.
I'm a purely visual guy. I don't know how you can't do the same simultaneously because it's a picture in your mind. It's not a picture in your eyes.
My mom does that, and it used to always.
She closes her eyes?
Yeah, she closes her eyes when she talks to people.
What do you see? Because I just see where the lights used to be. You know what I mean?
It's just like
light burns.
It's just a quirk. Some people do it. I don't know. He said, I believe it was around 2020 when he first heard of Signal from Stephanie Jones. Okay.
Okay.
She had told me that was her preferred method of communication, but we never communicated on Signal. And then I think your phone just gets rid of it when you don't use it. And then I downloaded it again. I joined a men's group and they had their group on Signal. And then I was unable to join officially the men's group, so I never joined that group on Signal. And then, so it was just kind of an app that was there. God, why is he telling all this?
I don't think I would ever join a men's group.
You wouldn't join a men's group?
No, I don't think so.
The
whole concept already just sounds crazy to me.
So
it's just men?
I really wanted you to join a dart league.
Men haven't been particularly kind
and
to me.
And that's kind of like a men's group. I mean, sometimes.
No, what are you talking about? We had some great women playing with us.
Oh, yeah, okay.
One of our best players was this woman.
I bet if you went into like, what's like a men's hobby? There's no men's hobby anymore.
Yeah.
Women have infiltrated all of it. Woodworking,
cars,
guns. You could probably
golf.
Like go hunting, maybe. That's probably, no, women are there too.
Yeah, but those aren't clubs. Those are like whatever activities. I could go and hang out with the dudes, but joining a men's club, what does it even mean?
It also,
so it's like sword fights? What are we doing?
I also noticed a men's group that had their group on Signal, and I'm like, why What are you talking about?
Well, that's
something. You don't want your wives.
So this is something like, you don't want your fucking.
You don't want your wives to be able to see your messages
on your phone. You are trying to come on. That is the most revealing thing ever.
Suspicious.
Yeah, so suspicious, bro. It's amazing how there's like a single app can just make you go.
What do you have that for? Okay, and then he continues. And then I downloaded it probably the day.
Hinata just got here a few minutes ago. Hello, hello, Hinata.
Listen.
I'm just greeting people. Junkyard's here. People are here as our friends, really bro. Gotta say hi to our friends.
Happy Saturday, everybody.
Yeah, happy Saturday.
Okay, he continues. And then I downloaded it probably the day after or 2 days after the New York Times article and the lawsuit. Okay?
Yeah.
Question. When you downloaded it a day or two after the New York Times article and the lawsuit, why did you do that? He said, I believe it was a group decision to move all of our chats to Signal. Who was in that group that made that group decision? He said, my attorneys, I believe all the defendants here. Melissa Nathan? Yes. Jen Abel? Yes. Jamie Heath? Yes. Steve Sarowitz?
Are they all there?
I guess. Steve Sarowitz? And he says, I think he eventually joined, yes, but not at first is the question. He said, Steve is always in his own world. Okay.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. Steve's always in his own world. You know, what's the Baha'i Galaxy? I don't know. I keep thinking it's like Scientology, you know, how they have their own planet.
You want to do some chat? Mm-hmm. Alex Sachs was a lot more fun. This one's like a lot less fun than I was hoping.
Well, I know I'm trying to get to the juicy stuff, but I don't want to miss anything.
No, this is good. I think we should be covering this. If you want to keep ripping through it, let's do it.
What are you seeing in the chat? I'm going to let you take care of it so I can.
John Form just said that's called spoliation, but I don't know what he is referring.
Oh yeah, Signal. Right after
spoliation, yeah, of course.
Right after she filed the lawsuit, they were like, let's go to this app that deletes messages, guys.
Yeah.
There's only one that does it. Let's use that one.
Yeah, I guess it's different. It wouldn't be spoliation if you weren't anticipating a lawsuit, you know? And I guess if you're going there, what are you anticipating then? If it's not meant to hide potential evidence. I always think about that like when I get texts and I'm like, you know, do people really recognize like what if you know, like I want to never mind. I'm going to drop this topic because I don't want to like.
Okay, this next part. Do you want to talk to the chat more, or do you want to?
No, we'll keep rolling. We'll get in with the chat in a minute. Let's go.
Okay. This next part that I have saved. Okay,
yes.
So it's being saved in case anybody wants to reference this. They're calling it Exhibit 5. This is Baldoni's deposition from October 6th, and it starts on page 136. Anyway, this is the super juicy testimony where he talks about how where he learns that Melissa Nathan lied to him. Do you feel like hearing it again? No, right? Because we already talked about this.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, there's no need. If you didn't hear this, just go listen to yesterday's live.
It's not yesterday's.
It wasn't? Day before yesterday's live.
No, it was days ago.
I don't know.
Yesterday's was...
Damn it. I'm sorry I don't have chapters.
Alex Sachs.
Fuck. Anyway, it's juicy as hell because basically what happens in this exchange...
Let me just read it real quick.
Okay. This is crazy juicy. This is the juiciest... Yeah.
Question. Did you have any personal role in making the decisions to hire Melissa Nathan over any of the other crisis PRs that you may have recommended? No. Are you aware of where Jamie got the names for potential crisis communications professionals that he was considering? He said, no, I actually don't. Do you know if he or anyone else at Wayfair asked Stephanie Jones for her views on crisis communication professionals that you should hire? He said, I don't. Do you know if she recommended Melissa Nathan or not? He said, I now know that she didn't. And how did you come to that understanding? They're saying don't answer if it came from your lawyers. Interesting. Baldoni
I got some bad news for you, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't know this?
Baldoni says, yes, I can answer this. Stephanie had sent me a text about Melissa Nathan. Question. You knew at the time that Stephanie did not recommend that you hire Melissa Nathan, correct? He said, I knew that Stephanie did not like Melissa Nathan. Yes. And Stephanie warned you against hiring Melissa Nathan. Isn't that right? He said, I think you could put it that way, that with my interaction with Stephanie, yeah. And were you aware that Stephanie also warned Jamie Heath and Tara Hanks against hiring Melissa Nathan? I was only aware of what she texted me. This is answer. Question. Are you aware that Wayfair and you decided to hire Melissa Nathan over Stephanie Jones's objections? He said, I would imagine so, yes. Okay, I'm going to show you a document that's marked Exhibit 5. It's a text message between you and Stephanie Jones dated July 26th. Is this the text message that you were referring to that Stephanie Jones sent you where she warned you against hiring Melissa Nathan? He says, it appears to be. And this was sent July 26, 2024. So does this refresh your recollection that you were considering bringing on Crisis PR before July 26, 2024? Yes. And as you recall, Stephanie Jones sent you a link at the top of that text thread, right? You said you never clicked on that. Is any of this... I'm sorry. This skips. Okay, forgive me. So this skips 7 pages later. I'm sorry, they don't make it obvious that they skipped a page.
Bastards.
Do you understand from this text message that Stephanie is telling you and Jamie and Tara that it might not be good for you to be associated with someone like Melissa Nathan based on the type of tactics that she has used in the past? He says that seems to be an accurate summary. And that if people knew that you were associated with Melissa Nathan, or specifically if Blake's PR came to find out that you had associated yourself with Melissa Nathan, they could use that against you because of who Melissa Nathan was, right? He said, I can't speculate to what she meant by that, but it seems to be, she says, Blake's PR to use as a weapon. So, okay, question. Wayfair and you went ahead and hired Melissa Nathan after and despite Stephanie Jones's warnings, right? He said, I believe so. And there came a time in August after you had hired Melissa Nathan that the Hollywood Reporter published an article about the fact that you had hired Melissa Nathan, right? He said, yes. I'm going to show you that article. It's a document we're going to mark as Exhibit 7. It's an article from the Hollywood Reporter dated August 14th, 2024 that says, Justin Baldoni hires crisis PR veteran amid It Ends With Us rift. Do you see that? And it goes on to say, and they're quoting, the director and star has retained the services of Melissa Nathan, who represented Johnny Depp during the Amber Heard trial.
God damn. So
Question. And you were pretty upset when this article came out, right? He said, I don't remember what I was feeling. Question. You were worried when this article came out that being publicly associated with Melissa Nathan might make it look like you had something to be guilty for, right? He said, no, I think I was just not happy that my crisis PR was being publicized. I don't think it had anything to do with Melissa Nathan. Question. Why were you not happy that your crisis PR was being publicized? Baldoni says, because it felt like more of the kind of thing that felt like somebody would plant to draw more attention and fan a flame to something. And the lawyer's like, a fan a flame to what?
Did you even read this before? Is this new?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep going.
Okay.
Fan a flame to what? He goes to public speculation, the fan theories of why I wasn't doing press with anybody. And then he drifts off. And the question is, what were the fan theories at the time about you and that you weren't doing press with anyone? Okay. What were the fan theories at the time about about why you weren't doing press with anyone? Forgive me. I'm sorry. He said, I remember there being a lot of talk about all of the cast unfollowing me, why I wasn't doing press with any of the other cast members. I don't remember the date that this came out, but I don't know if I had already done the premiere or not at this point, but I also never read an article or had seen an article about somebody hiring crisis PR. So I found it odd. And you thought it made you look bad, right? He said, yeah, I think it did. Question, you thought it made you look like you had something to hide? He says, I think I had never been involved in anything like this, and I wasn't used to seeing my name in the press in this way at all, and I certainly didn't want my name out there in a negative way. You thought it made you look like you had something to hide that had to do with the allegations of on-set abuse, right? He goes, I'm unaware of any allegations of on-set abuse. Well, that's fucking false. Question, to this day, you're unaware of any allegations against you of on-set abuse? He said, abuse? I'm aware of allegations as were written in the New York Times article and in this lawsuit, yeah. What do you understand those allegations to be? He said, I understand that I have been alleged to sexually harass Miss Lively, and then that I have alleged to have launched a retaliation smear campaign. Question, do you recall articles coming out around this time that called your on-set behavior abusive? He said, I believe I do. Okay, so you understand that that was one of the fan theories that was floating around about why you weren't involved in publicity and why all the cast had unfollowed you, right? He said, not necessarily.
Was that it? It was, right? I'm trying to remember back to that time.
Right.
And I do have a
there was press about why they
it was like not that interesting to me at that point.
Yeah, it would have just blown over.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm paranoid about making mouth sounds in this mic.
You just slammed your cup down.
I did.
Oh, it peaked.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
All the way over there, huh?
Nah.
Okay.
Well, you got a mic right there, you know.
You're not aware of any fan theories at the time that one of the reasons that the cast unfollowed you and that you were not involved in a lot of the marketing of the film or publicity around the film was because you engaged in abusive or toxic behavior on set? He said, I'm not aware those were fan theories. No. Question, any theories? He said, I'm aware that there were leaks to the press that accused me of that, but I'm not aware of fan theories. Okay, I'm going to hand you a document that's marked as Exhibit 8. This is a text thread between Henny Grace, Melissa Nathan, you. I think that's it. On August 14th, do you see that? He said, I do. Who is Henny Grace? He said, that used to be my alias, but it's now become public, so. Question, no longer useful as an alias, all right. So this is a text thread between you and Melissa Nathan, is that right? He says, it appears to be yes.
Oh, so he never had a text thread with Melissa. He never texted Melissa Nathan. He said that.
He said it. So this appears to be a text thread between you and Melissa Nathan. And earlier he just said
that in this testimony.
I actually don't know whether so these are different exhibits and they're kind of chopped up of the different depositions. So I don't know whether he answered that question before this one or not.
Doesn't matter because they're one contradicts the other regardless.
That's true.
Ridus is here. What's up, Ridus? Good to see you.
So this is a text thread between you and Melissa Nathan. Is that right? It appears to be yes. On August 14th, which is the day after the Hollywood Reporter article that we just looked at was published. Okay, and halfway down the page at 8:03 a.m., you write, and this is a quote, talk to me about this. So I'm really frustrated about this crisis PR leak and framing it as Johnny Depp's firm to poise that I have something to hide, and also there was abuse. She's asking, do you see that? He said, uh-huh. And so you were concerned about the Hollywood Reporter article framing it specifically with relation to Melissa Nathan's prior association with Johnny Depp, that it might mean that you had something to hide and that there was abuse on set, right? He said, yes, actually, yes. Okay, and then you say, and this is a quote, I don't understand how we are letting her continue to leak stories and do this to us. Do you see that? He says, yes. Who is her? And he said, I presume I meant Miss Lively's team. So he's talking to Melissa Nathan, assuming that Blake Lively is behind this.
Behind the article
that he is taking offense to.
Oh my God, dude. This is so fucking scandalous.
But it's also because Stephanie Jones had said, listen, if you hire Melissa Nathan and Blake Lively gets wind of it, she's going to use it against you because it's a really bad person to be associated with. Here is Melissa Nathan knowing that and hearing it from him. And she's not correcting him about it.
No, I know. John Farm's with us, and he's always been screaming Rico.
Yes.
I wonder if Rico would apply if she's already engaged with him, first of all. And then also if there was no, like, if she's already contractually engaged with him, is it still Rico? Because could she then technically be already being paid and therefore there would be no...
It's interesting. I don't know.
Monetary value to it.
That's a good question, though.
I just wonder.
Yeah. Okay. I don't understand how we are letting her continue to leak stories and do this to us. And the question is, who is her? And he said, I presume it meant Miss Lively's team. Question. Okay. And then you ask Miss Nathan to walk you through it. And then I want you to read Melissa Nathan's response on the next page. Do you want me to keep reading past page 2? No, you don't need to. Okay. So she tells you at the top. Sorry. They're trying to orient themselves on the document that he's reading.
Yes.
So here's the quote. Sure. So she tells you at the top, okay, and this is a quote. Melissa Nathan says, sure. Firstly, I am also incredibly frustrated. Then she goes on to say, a PR should never be part of a story, but I also work with many people who are in trouble and protect them. Was it your understanding from this text message or any other conversation that you had with her about this topic that she was also frustrated by the publication of the Hollywood Reporter article? He says, I'm reading that here now, so it appears she was frustrated. Question, do you remember conveying to you that she was frustrated by it? He said, yeah, just here. I don't remember outside of this. I was on a plane at the time, so we didn't speak. She says, okay, did you speak to her outside of this text message about the Hollywood Reporter article? He says, I don't know. Do you recall any phone or in-person conversations with her about the Hollywood Reporter article? He said, definitely not in person. I don't remember any phone calls about it. I feel like this was me venting. So this was probably the conversation that we had. Okay, and you're essentially asking her, like, tell me why this isn't a bad look for me, right? And he says, I think I'm trying to understand all of this. I oftentimes reach out to my team to say, help me understand this. I have a feeling about something. I don't like this. Make me feel better about it. What does that mean?
I want you to bury her.
Make me feel better about it, I think is really, that's a unique. I reach out to my team to say, make me feel better about this.
Working for somebody that's part of your fucking job.
No, he's in charge. He's supposed to make everybody else feel better about shit. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
I oftentimes reach out to my team to say, help me understand this. I have a feeling about something. I don't like this. Make me feel better about it. What does this mean? What is this? And I'm not a PR expert. Question. Would you agree with me that she did try to make you feel better about it? He says, it appears that she did try. Question. She's essentially saying, this is not a huge deal. It doesn't look terrible for you, right? And Baldoni says, yes. She's saying it's very normal, but that people have crisis PR. But it seems to me that she also said that it's not normal for PR to be part of the story. So, question. And if you look down the fourth paragraph starting, it says, Jen knows. She said, Jen knows. I spoke for an hour on the phone from 12 to 1 a.m. my time. She swears she had nothing to do with it, but I know someone placed this. Did you have a suspicion that Jen Abel had placed this? He said, no. Did you have a suspicion that Stephanie Jones had placed this? He said, I had a suspicion that this was Blake's team placing this.
God.
Damn. Just reflexive scapegoat. Well, just if it's negative, if it makes him feel bad, it's Blake's fault. So check this out. This is how he learns. I love this.
The human brain is a really fucking weird thing, man.
I had a suspicion that this was Blake's team placing this. Question. Did you have a suspicion that Melissa Nathan had placed this? He said, no. Question. And here she's essentially communicating to you, I'm frustrated by this. Someone placed this. It wasn't me, right? He said, I think maybe when I first reached out to her, I may have been confused and wondered why my team might place this, or if it was a leak. I don't really remember. I just remember it being such a weird headline, but no, I never suspected that Jen placed it. Did you ever suspect that Melissa placed it? He said, not in a negative way. I think if I reached out, I was confirming that no one from my team would brag about me having crisis PR. I didn't think that was something worth bragging or making an announcement about. Question. Did you get confirmation from your team or comfort from your team that no one from your team had leaked this information? He said, I believe I did. I believe this is part of that. Question. This message that Melissa is writing to you is part of the confirmation that you were getting from your team. Getting that your team didn't have any part in this, in leaking this information, right? He said, I believe so.
God. And then I just can't fucking believe how scandalous this is.
I know. And so back to the text thread. And then she goes on to say, in quotes, it doesn't make you look bad. Do you understand from this that she was trying to reassure you that this wasn't a bad look for you, right? He said, I imagine that's what she was doing.
You want to see, I got into this case in the beginning because of the parallels to Don's Plum. Well, the thing that got Leonardo DiCaprio crazy about Don's Plum to begin with was a small article placed by Jerry Metters in the Daily Variety.
So small. It was like this small. It was like 3-4 lines maybe.
Announcing
tops.
the movie had been made and that we were seeking distribution. It mentioned that Leah was in it, that Toby was in it, and that it was directed by RD and a couple of the producers, not me included, by the way. And yeah, that was it. But it made Leo crazy.
Yeah, they don't like bad press.
It's just so weird that we have just basically kind of the two similar parallels. Obviously, the difference is that this guy had a bad history leading up to that press. Mm-hmm. So he was expecting bad things to happen around him. You know what I mean? You know, like the way, a murderer might be sitting in their house waiting for the fucking, that inevitable day when, it's like, open up police, Mm-hmm. And so, yeah.
Should I continue?
Yes.
Okay, she's reading the text message again, okay?
Mateo's a cool dude. He's all right. He's a friend. Just throwing it out there in case, we all have different opinions, but just throwing that out there to the chat.
Yeah, that's true.
Seems to be a little like dispute going on. I'm not sure if there is, but if there is, man, everybody's cool.
Thanks for watching it so I can just read.
Keep going.
Okay, so this is more of Melissa Nathan on the text message, okay?
Yeah.
So the lawyer is saying, and then she said, and then she's quoting, all the reporters like and trust me, which is why when they called me, they took out all the social media stuff and did a straight story as they wouldn't kill it. Do you have any understanding of what she meant by they took out all the social media stuff? Baldoni's answer is no, because even just reading it a second ago, I think I missed that too. Sometimes my reading comprehension isn't great. No, I have all the reporters like and trust me, which is why they called me. I have no idea what she's talking about. Question, did you have an understanding as of this time that she had spoken to reporters at the Hollywood Reporter or about this article? He said no. Question, did you have any understanding at the time that she had tried to influence the article or kill it? He said no, I think I missed that completely. So first she says, I have no idea what this is. But then she's like, well, all the reporters always talk to me if something's going to run about me or my clients. Okay.
When I was getting publicists in the past, one of the things that they always tell you is and one of the problems that they have is tracking their hits.
Yeah.
So they have to like kind of like there's obvious ones. And then there's, more subtle, like what they call like soft hits, I suppose, where they can't necessarily convince the client that it was from them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a little ghost hit. It's just interesting though, because like it's in the context of this, it's just like, wow, you guys were just telling me you guys are fucking sneaky fucks is what you were telling me.
Yeah. Okay. So the question is, did you have an understanding as of this time that she had spoken to reporters at the Hollywood Reporter about this article? He said no. Did you have any understanding at the time that she had tried to influence the article or kill it? He said no, I missed that completely. Okay, is that the type of negative association with Melissa Nathan? Sorry, is this the type of negative association with Melissa Nathan and her past clients and tactics that you think Stephanie Jones was warning you about before you hired Melissa? He said, I can't speculate to what she was worried or warning me about. And the question is, because you never spoke to her about it yourself? He said, yeah, I never did. What? You have one of like the biggest... Like she has major clients. You're not going to trust this lady or even investigate what her advice.
For her in the first place?
What'd you hire her for? He said, I always go to my team if I don't understand something, but he's not going to fucking ask for clarification before he hires the person she's telling him not to hire. These people.
Well, she was because he had Jen talking in his ear.
Yeah.
And he had Jen pulling him the other way. And you look, you don't know what Jen was saying, but in all likelihood, it probably has something to do with Stephanie Jones is losing her business, honey.
Yeah, right.
This woman's going down the toilet faster than, your yesterday's fucking dinner. Like, I'm sorry, I take it back. But you know what I mean? Like she was, you just don't know because there's a reason for that. It's not just that, he's a bad businessman because you're right. If he says he goes to his team, then he probably went to Abel on this. Mm-hmm. This is Abel being
it's true.
This fucking... She's like, who is she in Shakespeare?
We're trying to make your money, dude. Like, I know you got a billionaire backer. We're just going to get paid for that.
She's the trickster, right? She's fucking Mercury, or she's like, what is she?
I don't know. Okay, I'm going to continue.
Please.
Question. Did Melissa Nathan ever tell you that she, in fact, was responsible for the leak that culminated in this story? He said she never did. Did she ever tell you that she was lying to you when she told you that she was incredibly frustrated by this? He said she did not. Did she ever tell you when she said, I know someone placed this, that she actually knew who had placed this? Baldoni says she obviously did not. Did she ever tell you that it was one of her friends? He said, like before, she didn't tell me anything except what I see here. Okay. If those things were true, are these things you would have wanted her to tell you at the time when you reached out to ask about it? He said, I would imagine so, yes. I'm going to show you. Pull up tab 40, please.
Oh, this is just...
I know, it makes you scared. Like, what is he going to...
It's my favorite part of lawyering when they're like, one moment, let me get the tea.
I'm going to mark this as Exhibit 9. This is a text thread between you, Melissa Nathan, and Jen Abel, also dated August 14th, 2024. Turn for me to page that's stamped at the bottom, please. She's saying you can read it. They're trying to figure out where he's supposed to be reading. Okay, so you're sending a screenshot to Jen and Melissa of a text that your old assistant Will sent you, right? Yes. Did you read that text? He said, I did. And in that text, he's essentially expressing to you that it's a bad look for you what came out in the Hollywood Reporter story, right? He said, yes. Okay. And you were passing that along to Jen and Melissa to what? Seek their feedback on the text? Baldoni says, I don't remember why I sent it. I just remember it didn't feel good.
I'm sorry, who said it was a bad look?
He said his friend.
Did they name him?
And in that text, he's essentially expressing to you that it's a bad look for you what came out in the Hollywood Reporter. It's a screenshot to Jen and Melissa of a text that your old assistant Will sent you.
Right, okay. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, thanks.
And you were passing that along to Jen and Melissa to what? Seek their feedback on that text? He said, I don't remember why I sent it. I just remember that it didn't feel good. Why didn't it feel good? He said, who's on this text, by the way? Oh, it's Melissa. I mean, I am being talked about in public and that sucks. And he's telling me that he thinks that it looks like I'm trying to cover something up. And he wants to just share with me that he knows my heart. And, you know, and I didn't want people to think that because it wasn't true.
I know your heart.
Question.
Justin, I know your heart. I need to talk to you. To your heart.
Okay. Question. And isn't this kind of association exactly what Stephanie Jones was warning you about when she advised you not to hire Melissa Nathan?
Fuck's sake.
He said, again, I don't know what Stephanie Jones was exactly referring to, so I can't answer that. But the lawyer continues, you understood that she said to you that being associated with a crisis communications professional like Melissa Nathan would be used against you because of that association, right? Baldoni says, I remember it at one of the texts you showed me. And the lawyer goes, and here is at least one independent source expressing that same view to you now, right?
Holy shit.
He said, yes.
That is just so dramatic.
I know.
That must have been amazing in the room.
When she says, and here, I wanted her to like pound the fucking document.
Oh my God.
With her finger. Okay.
What a moment. What a fucking moment.
He said, yes. And you were bothered by this? He said, I think I was. Okay. Can you think of another example of a director of a film hiring crisis PR during the promotion and release of a film related to the promotion?
They go into a thing that you can probably skip.
I could skip this part, right?
Yeah.
A director of a film hiring crisis PR.
He doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about at first. And it's a stupid question, really.
That a director would hire crisis PR in connection with the promotion and release of a film.
It's the only bad question. I shouldn't say stupid because this woman is brilliant. Is this a woman asking questions?
Miss Shaw.
Yeah, Miss Shaw. She's killing it.
I think it's a Jones, Stephanie
Jones
Jones
attorney,
lawyer.
yeah. I love her. I think she's super top shelf.
Okay, let's look at this document again for a second more. Just flip forward to the pages ahead of what we were just discussing, but from the beginning of the text page.
If I had the money, I would sue Leonardo DiCaprio with these people.
Oh
my God, I would just go get these people. I'd be like, hello, have all of it. Take it all.
All my chips across the table.
Seek the truth.
Am I correct that you and Jen and Melissa were talking about, generally speaking, what is going on with publicity around you and the film and this issue and how to handle it? Baldoni says, I think that there were more articles coming out that she was sharing and giving me context about, and here we're talking about the trainer and my bag. That's from what I see. Okay, on the first page in the first text you wrote, and she's quoting, just woke up, texting Jennifer with all the texts I'm getting worried about me. I imagine this truce didn't last. Do you recall getting texts that morning or the day before that were concerned about you? He said, I remember going to sleep. I don't know if I was on a plane or where. I don't remember where I was, but there were a lot of people asking if I was okay. Question. And they were asking if you were okay because they had read the Hollywood Reporter article about you hiring Johnny Depp's crisis publicist, right? And he said, I don't know what they had read. I don't know how many articles were there, but I know that people were worried about me. Was it your understanding that that was at least in part generated from the Hollywood Reporter article, or do you think it was just a coincidence and out of the blue? Baldoni said, I had no idea what it was about. That's why I think that's why I was texting Jennifer, and I make reference to a truce between the two PR teams. And what do you understand about that truce? He says that they would not be planting any negative or untrue stories and that we would not be talking to any media. The lawyer says,
he offered this?
Yeah.
That's the worst news a publicist could get.
Mm-hmm.
That's essentially shut it down.
Yep. Okay, and you understand that that's a truce that had been made between Melissa Nathan and Leslie Sloan, is that right? He said, that's what was told to me. Okay, and you understood that as of this time that both Melissa Nathan and the TAG team and Jennifer Abel and the JonesWorks team were interfacing with reporters about the incoming or published stories that were happening around the film and you, is that right? Yes. Okay, you understand that Melissa Nathan was monitoring and handling any income and PR inquiries, is that right? He said, I think I had believed that both her and Jen were doing that. Okay, you understood that Melissa Nathan was interfacing with reporters as necessary on all of these stories, right? He said, interfacing, like communicating with. Sure. He said, yeah. My understanding was that if someone reached out to her, then she would obviously answer that or communicate with them in whatever way a PR person communicates. And he said, Melissa Nathan or Jennifer Abel. Question, did you understand that Melissa Nathan or Jennifer Abel were actually speaking to reporters, whether on background or otherwise around this time, on your behalf? He said, well, I imagine so. We were still promoting the movie. And do you understand that both Melissa Nathan and Jennifer Abel were speaking to reporters on your behalf at this time? He said, I'm not sure if I ever thought about who was speaking to who. I'm skipping because they are trying to figure out if he's done with his answer.
Let the witness finish his answer.
Yeah, fair to say that you did not view the Hollywood Reporter article as a positive for you when it came out. He said, yes, I think that's fair to say. Fair to say that you would have been pretty pissed if you had learned that Melissa Nathan had in fact leaked the information that resulted in that article, right? He said, I can't imagine I would have been happy about that.
And we know what he's like when he's not happy. We know that he'll smack chairs, he'll intimidate women.
Yeah, right.
We know that he can get, he can show he has a proclivity for some violence in him when he's not happy. He's got that like Bruce Wayne thing, or no, what's his name? Not Bruce Wayne. The Hulk. What's his normal walking around Bill Bixby guy? I can't remember now.
What's his name?
Do you know I played him in a comic? My brother's a comic book artist.
Yes.
He did a episode of the Hulk. Bruce Banner. Yeah. And I played Bruce Banner. And like he photographed me and my brother. And I did all this stuff like for transforming. I asphyxiated myself with a towel.
Dale.
I didn't pass out, but I got all my veins in my head popping and everything. And I just looked up and he was like
for the art.
Yeah. And then my brother like drew. I have some of them somewhere. Okay, continue. Yeah, Bruce Banner, Jennifer, that's right.
Okay. Here's that really great turn that the lawyers do. Okay. So check this out.
Yeah.
You interrupted right at the time. I was like, oh, it's such good timing.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Fair to say that you would have been pretty pissed if you had learned that Melissa Nathan had in fact leaked the information that resulted in that article, right? He goes, I can't imagine I would have been happy about that. And the lawyer goes, all right, I'm going to show you what's been marked as Exhibit 10. It's a text thread between Melissa Nathan, Ashley, and Amy Chozick dated August 13th. Flip through this for me and tell me if you've ever seen this before. He said, no, I've never seen this.
Oh, fuck, man. You're going to need a seatbelt and a fucking...
Do you know who Amy Chozick is? He said, I do not. Do you know if she's a reporter? He said, I do not. Do you know who Ashley is? He said, I do not. Do you know if she is one of Melissa Nathan's good friends? He said, I do not. Okay, on the first page of this, there's a text from Amy Chozick and then a text from Melissa Nathan that says, and she's reading, in quotes, I am on Zoom, but we need to pin Amy. Amy threw me to the wolves. Do you see that? Yes. And then Amy says, and she's reading, I quote, I didn't know that Josh would put it on the wires. And then Amy says, my money is on Melissa against the wolves anyway. And then Melissa says, stop sucking up. And then Amy says, I should be your publicist. Hire me. And Melissa says, done, $0 per year. Now, this text thread is on the same day as the Hollywood Reporter article was published. Are you aware of whether or not they're talking about the Hollywood Reporter article that named Melissa as your crisis PR? He said, I've never. Can you move to... Okay. And then the lawyer's trying to get him off the subject. Can you move to something he actually has knowledge of? And Miss Shaw, the lawyer, goes, no, I'm going to ask him the questions I'm going to ask him. So Baldoni asked to read the document, and he said, okay, I've read it. The question is, do you now understand that they were joking about the Hollywood Reporter article that identified Melissa as your crisis PR? And he says, it appears to be the case.
Holy fuck.
He just learned it in his deposition.
That's just the most dramatic thing.
He had never seen that before.
And that she built it up in such a perfect way.
I know it.
Just absolutely.
She's like, you'd be pretty upset about that, right?
Holy fuck.
Okay.
Courtroom drama right there.
Flip with me to this page. Do you see where Amy Chozick at around 7:40 says, and she's reading, I quote, I told our friend Josh that Melissa is a boss and has a cool client. Josh told me his wife, who is a very prominent publicist. Sarah somehow told the Hollywood Reporter, and now they're all doing a story on Mel.
Mateo's saying that we already read this, and that's true. We're only including it again because this episode is titled Baldoni's Deposition, and I think it would have been a mistake to keep it out. It's too juicy. And it's still, it's like watching a horror movie for the second time. Jump scares still work. That fucking is just absolutely fucking crazy.
The question is, you understand that this is how the Hollywood Reporter got that story. And Baldoni says, it appears that this is what Amy is saying.
Jesus Christ.
Flip to this page. You see a screenshot texted by Melissa of a conversation between her and Pam. Do you see that? He said he does. You don't need to flip back to the article, but I'll present to you that Pam is Pam McClintock, who wrote the Hollywood Reporter story on Melissa. Okay? And he says, okay. And as you see, they're texting, and she says, good to chat. Melissa says, just checking in to see if I need to look out for this article, and if so, when. And then Pam says, was just texting you. Story is very fair and going soon. And Melissa says, thank you. Were you aware that Melissa had spoken on background? Were you aware that Melissa had spoken on background with the Hollywood Reporter ahead of the story being published? And Baldoni says, I was not. Were you aware that she was managing coverage in the Hollywood Reporter story about her story before the story was published? She said, I was not.
It's just staggering.
Amy Chozick writes, perfect. Do you see that?
Yeah.
She's asking Baldoni, not you. He said yes. The lawyer says, if you flip the page, they're talking about, and then she's reading, what publication? And then the answer is the Hollywood Reporter. And she goes, ooh, exciting. And the other person goes, I think so, with exclamation point. Were you aware that Melissa and her friends were boasting and joking about how good this article was going to be for Melissa at the time? Baldoni says, I wasn't aware of this, so no.
You just got used, bro.
And the question is, because Melissa never told you any of this, did she? And he said, I think I testified to what Melissa told me earlier, which is not this. So it keeps doing these so's, and the stenographer is writing it with ellipses. So he's definitely trailing off. And that's definitely something, a super relatable speech where they're like irritated. They're like, so this is new. This is awkward.
As a dialoguist, you would write that. And
okay. Next question. Okay.
Well, before you go to the next question, let me just answer this because John Farm says, well, how is it even possible the attorney has not shown him these texts? And it does seem incredible, but I can tell you that we went through an entire process of discovery.
That is a great question. Why is he being surprised in his deposition?
Let me answer the question. I went through, and this is, all I'm going to tell you is I can't answer that question directly, but I can tell you that it does occur. In our case, we went through the entire discovery process. We went through the entire settlement process. Then we flew to Denmark where we were going through the process of posting the film post-settlement from the lawsuit with Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire when we were confronted with a signed contract from our producer David Stutman with a Japanese distribution company selling Don's Plum for less than 10% of its actual value that our attorneys had filed in discovery. It was turned over by David. I have the discovery behind me right now.
But you had never...
None of us did. None of us heard about this.
But the other side did, you think?
It was turned over in discovery, so they had to have. They definitely saw it. They got it. And if they got it, that means I don't want to digress.
Maybe that's how it came up.
Well, no. It came up because it was in discovery. Yeah, okay. It came up because the fucking Japanese distributor said, I own it. I don't want to get into that part.
Yeah, no, I don't think
I learned about it in a different way. But the point is that this is a major document because it ended up costing us $2 million.
So you're saying, I know it's hard to believe, but could it be possible that Justin Baldoni's attorneys aren't doing a very good job?
No, I don't think that's the case.
Of informing their client.
Well, no, I don't actually think that's the case. I mean, first of all, I think that they knew that this was a big problem if they spent any time on it. The other thing is they may not have put it together.
Oh, yeah, because she's just talking with her friend.
They may not have constructed this for themselves. Entirely possible that his attorneys didn't even construct the article. It seems impossible, and it should, because you're paying so much money, especially at that level. Mm-hmm. But we, through so many people's discovery, there were, I don't know, maybe 8-10 attorneys. Never saw that document until I got to Denmark.
Okay, I'm going to keep reading. Okay, if you flip the page, you'll see that Melissa texts the Hollywood Reporter story to this group thread when it goes up. Okay? And then Ashley says, and she's reading, I quote.
By the way, I just wanted to add one more thing,
Dale.
if I may. I'm sorry. I do. I just needed to add this. The interesting thing about my situation and why this is a good comparison is because that document was the center, or not that document, that territory, Japan, was the center of our settlement agreement. We argued from 8 o'clock at night until near 2 a.m.
About Japan.
Over Japan.
Yeah.
So
yeah, your lawyers should have fucking notified you about it.
It was a critical.
It's really fucking crazy that they didn't talk about it.
But and it got past to everybody, and it was that critical. So this doesn't shock me.
Okay, I'm going to start over.
It's still so explosive, though. Yes.
Are
please.
you through talking about that?
I think
because I just want to get through this
next part. I'm trying to be a good person.
Okay, but listen.
Okay.
Okay, if you flip the page, you'll see that Melissa texts the Hollywood Reporter story to this group thread, and when it goes up. And then Ashley says, and she's reading, this is a quote, "Oh, that's really good, Mel. Like, really good." And she's asking, do you see that? And Justin Baldoni's like, I see it. And then Amy says, boom, this is good, right? And he said, yes, I see it. And then Amy, lower below, says, in quoting, you are going to hear from all the problematic men, Dick Pickapalooza. And Ashley says, men are always the problem. You're in the right game. Do you see that? And he says, I do. What do you think of this, seeing it now?
Oh my God, I just love this so much.
And Baldoni says, I think it sounds like a group of female friends talking to each other about an article. The lawyer saying, are you pleased to see that Melissa was joking with her friends about the article that was causing you consternation at the time? And Baldoni says, I'm not pleased. I don't think that's the word, but...
He's fucking pissed.
I know.
He said, I'm not pleased, and said, oh...
I don't think that's the word.
That was... oh my God.
Question.
I just hope that we see this video.
Question.
I want to see this video.
Is this how you want to see him fuming?
Oh my God.
Question. Are you pleased by the fact that when you asked her to explain this article for you and what it meant, she didn't tell you any of this? He says, so he's asking her to repeat the question, and she does, but it's like a dagger, dude. Are you pleased by the fact that when you asked Melissa, explain this article to me and what it means, she didn't tell you any of this? And he says, again, I wouldn't say I'm pleased. No. Are you pleased to be lumped in among Melissa's friends with a group of all the problematic men that need Melissa's help? He said, I would hope that they weren't thinking I was one of the problematic men, but that she was going to hear from all the other problematic men.
What do you think that
meant?
Then?
And then he reads it for himself. He says, then it says, and he's quoting Dick Pickapalooza. So whatever that means.
Oh, what does it mean, my friend?
He's going to think about that. Okay. She's asking, do you understand from this that essentially what you're saying is this is an article about how Melissa has helped Johnny Depp in his abuse trial against Amber Heard and is now helping you in retaliation to the allegations by Blake Lively against you. And so now she's going to be hearing from all of the problematic men. And Baldoni says, I believe one could infer that that was what they were talking about. Question. Do you see Melissa anywhere in this text thread saying, what are you talking about? Justin is not a problematic man. He said, not on the pages that you gave me. The lawyer goes, instead, if you look at this document, you'll see that Ashley says, and she's reading, Blake Lively noting Melissa's name, haha. And then Amy says, Joaquin Phoenix is calling. And then Melissa says, I fucking wish. He says, I see that. Do you have a view from this text thread about whether or not Melissa thought the publication of this article was going to be good for her business? He said, I can't guess on that. I can't guess on what Melissa was thinking or feeling at the time. Do you think it would have been fair?
That's like an absolute lawyer's instruction.
Yeah, of course.
Do not speculate.
Don't speculate on what people are thinking
or feeling.
Question: do you think it would have been fair for people to infer from the fact that you chose to hire Melissa Nathan that you were now one of a group of problematic men that she tended to work with? And he is answering, do I think it would be fair for people to infer? I think people's opinions are fair. I mean, I can't control people's opinions. Do you think that would be a fair inference for people to draw from the fact that you had hired Melissa Nathan, who had also worked with other problematic men? He said, I think that would be fair. And I think in this case, yeah. Do you think you're a problematic man? He said, I don't. Not in any respect. He says, I'm not sure how to answer that.
You're not
she says with a yes or no. He said, I don't. Okay. Do you think that this is the type of association, looking back with hindsight?
Such a great, I love lawyers. With a yes or no, that'll do.
So sassy.
Sassy.
Do you think that this is the type of association, looking back with hindsight, that Stephanie Jones was trying to warn you about when she warned you not to hire Melissa Nathan? He said, again, I don't know everything that was in Stephanie Jones's head, but I think that could be a fair thing to think.
Jesus.
You said, the lawyer saying, you said you felt at the time that Stephanie Jones had an agenda in warning you against Melissa Nathan. Do you remember that? And he said, I do. Seeing this, and in hindsight, do you think still that she had an agenda, or do you think she was trying to protect your interests? He said, I don't know what she was truly doing. I just know that the feeling that and then it cuts off. Okay. So there's that. That's fun. That's
all right. It's 2:20. How much more is there? Do you think?
There's a lot.
By a lot, can you add more definition to
yes,
a lot?
I can. I have. This one has. No, I don't know if I'm going to read it all because some of it's redundant. Actually, I haven't read any of these. So there's 22 pages on this one.
Right.
I'm sorry. Let me just scoot through. Let me count pages for you. Oh, this is a long one. This is 104 pages.
Of his deposition?
Yeah.
So we have to have a Baldoni part 2?
And then this one is just 4 pages.
So we got about 100 pages left?
So what we did do is we completed his first day of deposition. Not completed because this is we're getting little snippets of his whole day. Obviously, his deposition wasn't 2 hours long. But that's all that's been released now by, I guess, Blake Lively has been referencing all of this for her motion in opposition to his summary judgment. But that was October 6th of the deposition. There is a day of October 7th.
How many pages did we get through on this?
I don't know. You want me to go and count them?
No. I'll ask you later, and then we can know what our next day is like.
I think if we did another live like this, we'd probably get through those faster, although there's 104 on that one. What I'll do is I will
skim through them and see what we can
through them
edit
and highlight.
out.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we're going to do that. Let's go into chat.
Do you want to do this again tomorrow?
If you want to, I will. The Eagles are on Monday, so I'm good for prepping tomorrow too. So, but you got to make the call today while we got all our folk here. We got 20 folks here today. If you haven't liked the live, there's 20 here. We got 9 likes. I'd love 11 more if you can help a dude out. I'll tell you what, when I called for those likes the other day, because I noticed that we were getting a lot of Baldoni fans coming in and saying some nasty shit. And I said, help us because they're going to downvote us to hell. Well, that's exactly what they did.
They did?
And you guys, you outvoted them. We ended up at like, I think it was like 67% likes. If I hadn't called for your help at that point, we'd have probably been sitting at 30 seconds or 30, or 40, I don't know how to put it, but whatever. It helped. You guys kicked their butts. Yeah, it would have been at like 30% or whatever, which some of our lives have been when we've just let these guys downvote us. And that's how they're winning the PR battle, is they come in here and then they shit all over our live.
They suppress
and they suppress our fucking lives, and they suppress, and that's, it's why, we grow slow, but we grow strong. And that's the part that they can't.
They can't keep us down, man.
They can't influence. Well, they can't. I mean, the people we are, our community is strong, dude. We have an amazing community. And it's only getting bigger, even if it's slow by some standards. So, let's hit the chat.
Mateo is saying it's a very good comparison because Leonardo DiCaprio was very big in Japan.
Yeah, exactly. It was a pivotal piece of paperwork that should have been brought to everyone's attention. And when it wasn't, it screwed up a massive deal. We had a $2.2 million deal that was being closed by Zentropa at the time. It's all in the book. It was a crazy moment. It was like another way in which Don Splum got beaten down. And I truly believe that his lawyers were responsible for it.
The junk farm's going off. This is really great.
Let's hear it. Everybody.
Okay. It was Rico when Scooter formed the company. The entire business model of Tag seems to be racketeering and fraud.
Yeah, so that only happened. I mean, listen, you're probably right. That'll only happen, though, if there's some kind of independent investigation or some kind of referral by the judge to a DA.
Oh, Mateo was saying like the Van Zandt company, and Junk Farm said, LOL, you're also pissed that Van Zandt, in all caps, found out what he said. Why aren't you bothered that they said it?
Oh, that's what got you guys going. Okay, yeah. Van Zandt is a really contentious thing. It's a very funny thing. And by the way, all that was good lawyering. Mm-hmm. Legal technicalities work both ways. Sometimes they get criminals off of crimes, and sometimes they hold people accountable for the things they've done. And in this case, maybe a legal technicality or a technical legal maneuver is just the kind of thing that they needed to be able to get into evidence the truth. So we all hate to see when these kinds of things get guilty people off of the crimes and being held accountable. I don't think there's any reason why we shouldn't be pleased to see when these kinds of tactics end up benefiting the victim.
Oh, also it's really interesting because the junk farm's pointing out that Stephanie Jones, apparently her husband works at WME, and I can't remember who he is or whether that was actually Baldoni's agent too. And maybe that's why he had Stephanie Jones as his publicist for so many years, right?
Well, I can also explain why just Stephanie Jones was so upset because she's in the movie star pipeline.
Yeah, so the junk farm says, like, seriously, how did he think he was going to stiff his agent's boss's wife and still expect to have an agent?
Well, yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, he is indirectly slighting WME in that situation, but it's also because did WME rep her? No.
No, not Stephanie Jones is married to somebody who works at WME.
An agent there, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if PR firms get repped as it goes.
Oh, I don't know.
Probably not.
The junk farm said he's getting sued by like 8 different entities over the exact same fact pattern. Blake didn't make him lie to his insurance company.
No.
I also don't understand how they think Lively broke the truce and it never crossed their mind that Stephanie Jones, the dragon lady with the PR company, was also gunning for them. Like, he didn't even suspect her. It was only Lively he was ever thinking was up to it.
Well, I think that what we're going to learn is that, when they sit there and call for a truce, here's the fucking truth, bro. They call for a truce, and then what do? They get Jed Wallace going. They're doing the organic, destruction of her career. We settled our case. We still weren't able to sell our fucking movie in Italy. Leonardo DiCaprio star, right? In a fucking avant-garde, like French New Wavy looking film.
Impossible that it didn't sell in Italy.
Well, not as impossible. We had a $750,000 offer from the biggest distributor in Italy that Leo kiboshed. Is that a word?
Kiboshed.
Kiboshed.
I don't know.
It's like kibasa.
It's not.
Kiboshed. All right. Like he shut that shit down. So,
Hanada says agreeing.
They keep going behind the scenes even when they make these fucking agreements, is the point that I'm trying to make, right? Is that these agreements go down and then they do what? They hire Jed Wallace. They hire Melissa Nathan.
Hanada said agreeing that Baldoni is a weirdo and his soft-spoken way of admitting very out-of-the-norm behavior is very concerning. If people were really paying attention to what Baldoni says and what he admits, they should be disturbed.
Yeah, as are the people around him who are not brainwashed into this Baha'i shit, who aren't a part of this Baha'i nonsense. Outside of Baha'i, it seems the majority of the people that he's interacting with who are above the line, at least, and that's the other thing, dude, because like everyone's got like the little, their little public facade.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got their, when you're dealing with, it's like how the boss teaches management versus how the boss treats the crew.
Yeah.
So he's above the line versus below the line in the film industry is a thing. And he treats people above the line like trash.
I can't believe that he was so aggressive with a fucking producer on his movie. An experienced producer. If it was my third film and I had somebody who had like made 20 of them who was helping me out and working for my company from the outside, what the fuck is he doing mistreating Alex Sachs? It makes no sense.
And well, I'll tell you, the thing that I felt like the Alex Sachs thing really revealed was how vulnerable he was and how viscerally he reacted to creative input by women.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't hear these confrontations with anybody else, but we know that with Blake Lively, he took her creative contributions as a threat to take away his control of the film, which he never really had in the first place.
I wonder what the
pattern. Sony is always going to decide the cut before it goes out, and if they don't like what he's cutting, they're going to go another direction with an editor and somebody who's going to be in charge of that edit.
Yeah, I wonder whether he has any of this behavior with men, or if it's just women.
Well, you'd think we'd hear about it.
Well, I don't know.
In the evidence. You think it'd come out in the evidence, or the men aren't complaining. Yeah, well, we know that Shane Norman complained.
Yeah, that's true.
But in this case, it's women.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a movie that he's at least told everyone that he's working with that he's devoted to the female gaze. I don't even know what that fucking means. You're the director. He had a chance to put somebody like Christy Hall or Blake Lively in that chair, and he took that chair. He didn't have to do that. He could have produced this movie. He would have been better off producing this movie. The movie would have been better off had he produced this movie. Because Jamie Heath, by the way, I said in one of our lives that I felt like it's very possible that Blake Lively was a more important producer to It Ends With Us than Jamie Heath is or was. And I'm convinced of that 100% now.
Yeah, you can hear as much from Sony.
From Sachs.
Where every text message that they have with him, they seem to be getting more and more frustrated with his inability to provide them with simple information that they're seeking. It's just crazy. Fel Baumling said that Ryan Reynolds posted his annual Sick Kids Foundation video today, and I noticed that at the end, he said an anonymous donor would match donations up to $1 million, but the past campaigns, he'd say that he and Blake would match donations. So they learned their lesson from their group effort initiative video where the Baldoni army claimed that they were horrible or trying to buy back their reputations. And instead, so they're still doing the charity, but now they have to do it anonymously.
Let me tell you, man. Ain't nobody perfect. And that's going to be true about Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, but they're just not bad people. They're going to have their flaws. They're going to be in their bubble. They live in a bubble, right? Like, I don't think they're exempt from being as rich as they are and being as affluent as they are. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're going to be untouchable in that way. But do I think that they're reasonably down to earth people? I think probably. I don't think you can go through Hollywood as long as they have and have as good a reputation as they have had up until this point without learning and growing through whatever mistakes they've made, because certainly they made them. Mm-hmm. So I think that these people have matured into the business remarkably compared to the way some others have. Look, Leonardo DiCaprio has only been falling. Do you know what I mean? And there was no reason for him to be. The only reason he is falling is because he's doing all these things that are contradictory to the person that he said he was. He's building diamond foundries, right? He's a partner in a resort just north of a fucking genocide, and claims himself an environmentalist. And you can't be an environmentalist and engage in those two forms of businesses in good conscience. You just cannot. But he does. And that's the difference between what I think you see in a guy like him and others who are similar versus a Blake Lively and a Ryan Reynolds, who I don't think, other than the fact that you have all these freaks going around and trying to tear these people down for every little good thing they do.
I also think it's kind of delightful that Ryan Reynolds has a foundation to help sick kids, and he literally calls it Sick Kids.
Yeah. Let me tell you something.
I just think that's really funny to me that he's just like, listen, let's just cut the bullshit, guys. This is a foundation for sick kids.
In what you call it? In
instead of March of Dimes or
yeah. Or in It Ends With Lawsuits, they built this conspiracy around the idea that Ryan Reynolds was working in concert with WME to build to I don't know. It's mad. It's mad what these people do. So Ryan Reynolds hosts some kind of an event that gives underprivileged. This, by the way, I believe is a result of the plantation thing.
Is this what they're calling group effort? Their group effort initiative? So
what they do is they create this thing that gets people in front of these people who are like minorities or marginalized, typically marginalized people. They give them a chance to get in front of WME, and they do this talent thing where they're basically exposing people who would otherwise have a very difficult time getting opportunities in Hollywood, right?
Right.
And so they do this, and they've been doing it every year. And I believe it's an initiative that he started after the plantation wedding fallout, because I remember reading his response to that, which was, utter embarrassment for doing it and just being thoughtless about it. And then behind the scenes, he created these things for minorities and people with, marginalized peoples to have opportunities in Hollywood.
That's right.
So WME is behind it, and it elevates these kids and these people who would otherwise not have an opportunity. And and it ends with lawsuits, turned that into some conspiracy around the idea that they're trying to hone talent to worship them so that they can keep them in their bubble of billion-dollar making garbage, whatever.
Okay, so
and I responded to that and I said, you guys are fucking terrible. Do you know how difficult it is to get in front of fucking WME?
Yeah.
Do you know how hard it is for people to break in? This is what you're trying to do is criticize them for doing the same thing that like when athletes go to like schools.
Yeah.
You know, like a pro athlete, right? LeBron James strolls into a high school, right? Goes one-on-one with their best player, right? And then does a little clinic for them and fills them with the dream and then walks out. Mm-hmm. So Ryan Reynolds is filling kids with the dream and giving them the exposure to potentially...
No, of course it's not a bad thing.
It's a fucking beautiful thing. It's a wonderful thing. It's a selfless thing.
Let me interrupt you because
But they rip him down for it. But that's why he's changing his name. That's why he's doing it anonymously,
yeah, of course. Cosmic Urgency's here with us.
Yo, what's
Just
up?
dropped in and said, what are you guys' favorite 80s teen movies? He's like, to change, to change the subject. But we are here on a Saturday specifically to talk about
I'm going to fucking answer that really quickly because that's an easy one for me. You know, Breakfast Club is probably top of the fucking pile for me. But I loved them all, bro. I loved Red Dawn. I loved, I even loved like some of the chick ones just especially later. I'll tell you the ones that surprisingly I didn't rub well with me or didn't go over well for me. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I thought it was okay. Everyone was like, oh, and I was like, it's okay. So I liked that one, but I loved The Breakfast Club. I thought that was the fucking top shelf of them. I liked all the Brat Pack, as they called them. I liked all their movies, man. I got into them. I like, I guess it's not, Less Than Zero? Forget about it. That one was like in my veins too. Answers, oh my God. Less Than Zero was a massive one for me. Red Dawn. I mean, I know it didn't age well, but when I watched it.
Is it Less Than Zero? Is that the John Cusack one with the claymation? No,
Less Than Zero is...
Oh, yeah. Okay, I know. Which is the John Cusack one with the claymation in it?
I don't know.
God, it's so good. I have to look this up.
So there's a bunch for me like that. But I fucking loved those movies, dude. They're very nostalgic for me. What would be another one that I don't think if there's like a 16 Candles. I love 16 Candles, Shannon. Of course, absolutely.
Better Off Dead.
Oh, I love Better Off Dead. Yeah. That's a dope
1985
movie.
is
Yeah. I fucking love Better Off Dead. Absolutely.
I
love James Spader. Mm-hmm. There was one called Tough Turf. Look up the poster. I'll look it up right now. I'll show you guys the poster, man. Tough Turf with James Spader. And I remember I loved that. You know, was another one that I loved? Reckless. I've told this on this live before. Reckless with Aidan Quinn. Oh,
Tough Turf looks terrible.
Oh, I loved it.
It looks so bad.
Oh my God, I loved it. James Spader, bro. 1985.
It gets a 1.5 out of 4. Roger.
Dude, I loved it as a kid. Hey, listen, man, it's 1980, whatever, bro. 85. Yeah, it's absolutely fucking terrible. But listen to the cast: James Spader, Robert Downey Jr., Kim Richards. Come on, forget about it. Look it up. Tough Turf.
He sings. God, that sounds terrible. Hey,
I just love James Spader.
I have to get out of this chair.
Ever since Less Than Zero.
I've been here too long.
You guys, Angela's
I would like to see everybody tomorrow for the part 2 of the Baldoni depositions.
Yeah, 16 Candles. I got to watch it again to see how it aged. I still love the movie, though, Cosmic Urgency. He said it was a terrible adaptation of Less Than Zero, but like as a kid, you watch that, the tragedy of it all. Also, the sexuality was just wild. Nothing I'd ever seen before or experienced before. It was revelatory in that way, and I had not read the book. You guys are marvelous and amazing. Thank you for carrying us through another night. We will again see you tomorrow because we're going to have a special Sunday edition.
Yeah, well, I just want to get through all this.
Because we got to get through all this stuff.
There's so many depositions I want to get them all recorded and read so that we can refer to
them
when
like there's
we need to.
Interesting Diddy news that's popping that I want to get on through. And like
yeah, I mean, for the weekend, I don't want to talk about any of the current event stuff. I just want to get through these documents.
Oh, Cosmic Urgency said 16 Candles aged insanely. He loved it. He just watched it last night, so maybe we'll check it out. That's a good recommendation, but we're probably tonight going to be watching Taylor Swift's movie because I kind of promised that one to Delicate, and I want to see it. So you guys are amazing. We got to go. We're running fucking crazy late. You're awesome. See you tomorrow, I hope. Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye, guys.